fucking ratones eating my fucking money. Carlos, this is a stupid fucking problem to have. But it is a problem, nonetheless. Rat fuckers. Rat fuckers.
Ain't it funny how even the worst of heathens try to get righteous when they think the Lord is about to tap them on the shoulder?
Listen, Esther, if I wasn't so sick, I would give you one of these across your ugly lips.
Who you calling ugly, sucker?
I'm calling you ugly. I could stick your face in some dough and make some gorilla cookies.
Well, the Democrats' way of running this country is to go tell us all how we ought to make sacrifices. God, they're great on that stuff. But they're all going to have us over the hill to the poorhouse. We ain't going to be able to drive over there because we ain't got no gas, so we're going to have to walk it.
Oh, the Reader's Digest says walking is very good for you.
Oh, ain't that lovely? The Reader's Digest can always put a little joy into poverty. Listen, my whole point is this whole thing with the energy and everything. This is all a conspiracy. No, you know that? It's a conspiracy there. Listen, for years, all our lives, they've been telling us to go out and buy stuff that use energy. You know, all electrical stuff. They got electric toasters, electric ovens, electric stove, electric stereo, electric TV, electric race, electric hair blower, electric knives, electric every damn thing. Not to mention the cars. And now, after all the big corporations there make the billions and billions of dollars worth of profits, signals, wham, they're changed. And after telling us for years that we can't live without this junk, now they tell us that we gotta live without it. The country is going straight into the dumper.
Twitter user @WayneASchneider asked, which of you is more like Jesus? Trump, let's start with you.
I love the Bible. I've read the whole book. I love the Bible. Great book. Incredible book. I love Corinthians. I love both of them. I think they're incredible. I love their leather. I love their leather. And I'll say this. I really do. I love it. And I'll say the Book of Job. Incredible book. Incredible book. It's Jobs is in the Bible. Jobs is in the Bible. If our president wasn't reading the Quran, maybe he'd know that. But here's the point. Very important. Very important. Jesus, most boring part of the book. Are you kidding me? He's a very boring guy. They should have chopped him up into pieces. They should have chopped him up. Why did they crucify him? He came back like Voltron. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I would be a way better Jesus. Way better Jesus. Way better Jesus.
All right. I will, based on the audience reaction, points to Mr. Trump on that. Senator Sanders?
Look, I'm not like Jesus at all. There's nothing in common. I'm far older than Jesus ever was. I don't know, maybe he would have run for, Emperor Rome or something if he'd lived as long as I did. But let me say this. I am not particularly religious. However, I do have a Holy Spirit-like effect on Vermonters and Vermont-like people. Wherever two or more Birkenstocks are gathered, I am in their midst.
All right, points now to Senator Sanders.
Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house.
Naked grandma!
Naked, huh? I don't want to see that either. I know you're right, okay? Nobody wants to see a naked grandma, but what are the chances of you breaking in the house and running up into your grandmama naked? Looking for a naked grandmama in the house, outside, in the woods, on the blanket.
Oh, you should be coming on pretty soon, dude. How much do you smoke?
This will be a little demonstration of that. Listen up. That was my skull. I'm so wasted.
All right, kids, welcome to another 2 times in a row episode of the original Red Pill Show. What's that noise? Oh, my neighbors. That's how thick the ceiling is here. My neighbor's running his water. That's great. I'm going to listen to that stuff all day. Anyway, welcome to another exciting episode of the original Red Pill Show. Today, again, it's still March. What is it? March 9th, 2020. Monday night. 2 shows in a day. Oh, man. I got to get... Okay, here we go. This show is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please use it at your own risk. Show is copyrighted by me and Freedom Revolution Network. No part of it can be reused, rebroadcasted in any way, shape, or form without written consent, or you can just ask. I could really care less. Finally, this show is opinionated under no circumstances whatsoever. Should opinions be taken as advice? If you're seeking professional advice, we strongly encourage you to hire a license if required person in his or her field, Tommy. Amen. No, that's his name. Broadcasting live once again from the lovely little town of Loveland, Colorado. And I'm not going to waste time doing this because we have an interview. Don't we, Melissa? Are you muted? You're not muted now. Did you do that? Oh, great. We're going to have technical difficulties, aren't we? Marissa.
Okay, so I forgot to hit the little freaking button on the mic.
Yeah, there's a mute button. You have a mute button. You're spoiled.
I used the mute button on the video thing. That just so I'm sitting there talking and you're not hearing me.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it. That's what's nice about that mic. I meant to tell you that. It's right smack in the middle of that mic.
Yeah, I knew it was there, but I forgot.
Just don't forget if you turn it off to turn it on again. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. So just kind of like what you did. You must have hit it accidentally though, right? Or did you hit it on purpose?
I think I hit it before I unplugged everything this morning.
Got it. Okay. Did you have a rough day? How was your day?
It was actually pretty good.
I was gonna say you are my work wife, so I have to be act like I care how your day was. So
how was your day, honey?
Oh man! All right. Well, thanks to Ron and what's the name of his program? Emergency what?
Emergency Management Associates.
Yeah, that was very nice of him to recognize me in the chat room and all the nice, kind things he said. He's a great guy. He's really,
he really is.
Really appreciate that. There's nothing but love here in the Freedom Revolution family. Sure. Okay. All right. So we are going to interview Jason Oman. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to?
You have to unmute him. I can't unmute him.
I'll unmute him when I'm not ready yet. This is my show. Hang on a second. So you want to explain a little bit of who he is briefly, and then I'll bring him on, and he can do for himself, and then we'll start the interview. How's that sound?
Sure. Let's see. He used to run in the circles of the likes of Mark Victor Hansen. All kinds of motivational and our fathers of marketing and all that good stuff. He wrote Conversations with a Millionaire, Conversations with Female Millionaires, and I think like 8 other books.
Okay.
That all have to, they all have to do with mindset and all of that. And along the way, he had a traumatic brain injury years back, and he's still pushing on. So that's an interesting dynamic on him.
All right, awesome. All right, well, I'll mute him and bring him on. So you ready?
Go for it.
Here we go. Hello, Jason.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Jason.
Wonderful.
Yo.
How are you?
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on.
Oh, glad to be here, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right. So Mel gave us a little Reader's Digest version of an introduction for you. Would you like to add anything to that? And then I will share my rules for interviews, and then we will just come out of the gate with this thing. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So basically, quick little bit of my background. I, did the normal school like everybody else, and then after high school, went and got a degree in electronics engineering. I worked a 12-hour graveyard shift from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Did that for, almost a year. And because I was used to being up late at night doing that on a day off one night, or night off, I was up late one night and watching TV, and what's on TV late at night, TV infomercials is one of the things. And so some millionaires were on a show doing an infomercial, selling a course about making money and home business success. And so I'm like, anything but this 12-hour graveyard shift job would be a step in the right direction. So got the course, devoured it like nothing I'd ever seen, and got started doing some stuff in a home business. Had enough success with that home business that, I had the brand new BMW, doing well, and the millionaires from that TV show found out about the success and invited me to be on the next version of that TV infomercial. So they flew, I was living in California at the time, they flew me to Florida, filmed me for the show, and then next thing I know, basically every night of the week, probably 8, 10, 12, 15 times a night, depending on what TV station you're tuned into, I'd be on TV with the millionaires. And am I rambling too much, or do I still got another minute to do this?
No. Just go. Here's the rules of my show. Since you said that, okay. I don't have any rules, so you can say whatever you want. You can talk about whatever you want, and if there's something that we come across that you do not want to comment on, then just say something like, Tim, I prefer not to comment on that or talk about that. There's no boundaries here. There's no nothing. There's no time limit. We can stay on here for an hour, 2 hours. I don't really care. Mel might have to go to bed. But I just want you to feel comfortable and say, this is your forum. You got the mic. You can say anything that you want.
Sweet. I appreciate it. I didn't want to, ramble and then have you guys sit there looking at the clock going like, okay, when is this guy going to shut up?
No, we're very, very open here. It's forum. Just feel like we're out at Starbucks or a bar having a beer, and you'll take some phone calls, right?
Nice. I could do that.
Yeah. So now, if you wouldn't mind putting the phone number up, and then we'll let Jason continue. But yeah, no, feel free. Whatever you'd like to say.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. So, so they invited me to be on the TV show, and I had success in that first business after, it probably took a few months, 2-3 months, and had enough success with it to be able to quit the 12-hour graveyard shift job. And, and so that's what got me on the TV show. And then, trying to remember where, and then some guy had not too much unlike you guys, had a radio show. This was all before the internet, really. And which, I know dates me, but whatever. So he had a radio show on a little AM radio station in New York. And I used to call across the country. I was in California, like I said. I used to call across the country on before cell phones, dial-up phone, call across the country and have them put me on hold at the radio station, because they would, pipe the radio show through the phone lines when you're on hold. And I would literally, sit there and listen to, him interviewing all these different millionaires. I put him in touch with Robert Allen. That got us to Mark Victor Hansen and Jim Rohn before he passed, and Wally Famous Amos, Jack Canfield, Sharon Lecter from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and just on and on. Jay Conrad Levinson from Guerrilla Marketing, a bunch of just amazingly, some rock star experts at making money and marketing and becoming successful. And then after, about, 10, 12, 15 episodes of that, I was, again, this is before the internet. So if you weren't literally like parked across the street in a parking lot, you wouldn't be able to pick up the radio station and hear the interviews. And I was sitting there just feeling like so many people are missing out on so much gold. There's got to be a way to do something about that. And so me and him, we would get on the phone and mastermind and brainstorm and stuff like that all the time. And at one point, I asked him, I said, "Hey, did you record all those interviews with all the different millionaires?" He's like, "Yeah, they're in a shoebox in my parents' basement." This was years later now. They're in a shoebox in my parents' basement, just gathering dust. And I'm like, "Well, get those tapes, send them to me. We're going to do something fun." And he's like, "Okay." And so next thing I know, a package of, the tapes show up. Anyway, so long story short, so I got the tapes transcribed and I edited them and turned them into an ebook called Conversations with Millionaires. Neil Donald Walsh had done the Conversations with God books not too long before that. And so I kind of did a spin-off of that, called it Conversations with Millionaires. Like I said, did it as an ebook and started getting it out there. This is right around the time when the internet was happening and the, internet news groups and different stuff like that was going on. There was no such thing as like the social media and all that stuff yet. No YouTube, none of those things. And put the word out about it, about the ebook version. Started getting sales, started getting testimonials and feedback and reviews from people that was just mind-blowingly awesome. And it just made me giddy to be part of something and to create something that people loved so much. And so basically at one point deciding, you know what, this needs to be a print book so we can expand the reach and the exposure and help more people get impacted by it and get it on the bookshelves around the world. And so we printed it, and right not too far from that time wise, internet was kicking more. Amazon.com was happening, and turned it into a print book, got it up on Amazon. Sales just started going ballistic for it in an awesome way, and became a number of that. I did a special kind of bestseller campaign, and we were the first ones to ever do that. If you've seen our campaigns, and hit #1 on Amazon. Put the whole campaign together in a matter of a couple of days, and next thing you know, we're looking at the screen and seeing our book at #1, and it was just a mind-blowingly awesome thing to see. And things were going awesome. Did another kind of side project, spin-off of that, and sold 20,000 copies of the spin-off book to one company all at once, got a check for 6 figures sent to us. And, it just really showed us, showed me what's possible by using your brain in the right way, and seeing the world in the right way. And I ended up kind of putting together a program teaching how to do that, to come up with ideas for products, services, information to create income streams from, and put the word out about it. And again, another example of just, the tide, it just opened the doors and it flooded with people getting it and loving it. And again, the testimonials, reviews and everything, feedback was so awesome that, I knew I needed to get out to more people, get the word out about that. And, just a bunch of the different things that I've done have, not every single one of them by no means, but a lot of the different things I've done have just gone really well. And it's just been a treat and a treasure and a pleasure to be able to be part of stuff that has, impacted people's lives in such positive ways. And, I'm looking to do more with my latest program too. And I'm just excited about the possibilities moving forward.
All right. So you're one of those people that like to see people succeed, apparently.
Oh, most definitely.
Right. It motivates you and probably puts a smile on your face and joy in your heart without getting too corny, but that's about right?
No doubt. I don't mind it at all. I'm as corny as they come. I get a smile ear to ear. Because I've really seen kind of both sides. I've been on the edge of homeless, and this is all before any of that story stuff. And, I know both sides to it. I've done the, show up at the food bank to get free food thing. And, I know both sides of the equation, and it's just amazing the kind of difference that can happen when you really kind of get your mindset straight. And I know a lot of people have heard that before, but, how do you actually do that? And that's why, I came out with this latest program to really help people get their minds lined up and use them in ways that can open doors for possibilities.
Well, that sounds amazing, but I want to go back to your very beginning first sentences. So you're like a lot of us, and by the way, I'll share really quick my background.
Please.
Worked since the day out of high school. Worked for my dad. Was going to take over his business. Never happened. Kept busting my butt. At the age of 33, with no experience or education, I started my own company. Was pretty successful. Define successful, but anyway,
yeah.
I turned $10,000 of my own investment into $30 million in sales on a cumulative level over 20 years, and lost all of it. So in a divorce and some inside mutiny and struggle for power and control and blah 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 blah. So I've been with nothing. And then something, and now with the nothing again. So you're going to inspire me too, but your story is amazing because, define homeless. I moved 6 times after my divorce and really didn't have my name on any residency because I was renting rooms or whatever from people to get back on my feet after a bad divorce. So that was 4 years ago. I moved to Colorado from Illinois and took my business all the way down to the bottom of the ocean. I just couldn't survive it, but that's what a captain does, and took the ship down and left Illinois and started here. I'm an employee again. But you're probably, I know you're going to motivate me to do it because I know how to do it. I've done it once. And it sounds like the way that you did it in uncharted territories, because you're one of those people that were sitting there, and I've done this too, especially in the real estate seminars, infomercials at night, in the middle of the night, watching that stuff. But you're a person that actually watched that and became successful from it or got positive results. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just watching the show, but yeah, it was taking action.
Yeah.
And
right.
I mean, if you really it's amazing thing. Like people put a lot, not everybody, but a lot of people put more concentration, effort, and focus into hobbies like video games or whatever. And, more power to them, but like they put more time, energy, focus, emotion, and their kind of internal juice, if you will, into, video games or, online, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. And it's like, what if that energy and focus and passion was focused and targeted on something that could actually not only do amazing things for yourself, but in win-win-win-win-win ways, for lots of other people too. And if you put yourself in the right kind of position like that and take those actions, I mean, so many possibilities are open. It's just kind of how do you actually do that? And that's why I created this latest program, is to really kind of give people a step-by-step track to run on, so they can really put themselves in a position for awesome stuff. So yeah, it's amazing.
I want to hear that. I'm curious about that. So it sounds kind of like, have you ever read Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil?
Oh, everything he's ever done, I freaking love.
You're reminding me of that, and I'm being very complimentary. Except his book was because he went and he who was the steel guy back then?
Andrew Carnegie.
Yeah, Carnegie. He went in front of Carnegie and he said, "I want to interview you and Henry Ford and Tom." I don't know if Thomas Edison was alive, but all these famous people and how they get successful. And Andrew Carnegie said, you can interview them all you want. Well, who you need to interview is the people that have started with nothing, have become successful, lost it all, and became successful again.
Yeah.
Because you're going to learn a lot more from failing than being successful. And I read that book, and going down both those roads and hopefully coming back and being successful once again. I learned more failing than I ever did being successful. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You've been down that road, or you know people, because you say you know multimillionaires and very success. I mean, what's the definition of success? Whatever. I think it's happiness. It's not how many numbers your tax return says or how much taxes you pay, but
Yeah.
happiness is successful. That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
And
there's people that don't have a lot of money that are more successful just purely based on the joy of life that they get to live versus the people that bust their ass 24/7 doing what they don't enjoy. They may make great money, but are they really successful? Like happiness, without happiness, is that really success?
Exactly. And I can tell you this, money, you know, the law of money, you can have somebody that doesn't have money, and then they're given money like the lotto or an inheritance or whatever, and they piss it down a hole. Sorry. And then they lose it. Whereas somebody that has money and they lose it, they'll find a way to get the money back again.
Absolutely, because their internal ability and sense of what they're capable of and what they can accomplish is solid. And you know, there's a thing that I talked about in one of my programs that is about this stair-stepping your way to higher and higher levels of success. And it's great to have these, you know, huge goals and stuff like that. By no means am I ever going to tell people they shouldn't have huge goals. But when you're first getting started, the next step towards it is more important than focusing on just only the end result. And so many people get their mind focused on, you know, and they envision, and I'm not saying taking anything away from visualization and stuff like that, because it's huge, it's powerful. But if you only visualize the end, you kind of leaving some hope for the best and luckiness to kind of lay out a roadmap to actually get there. And I think if you can break it down and make smaller level goals sometimes, and then use those as stepping stones and learn, like you're saying, you know, learn along the way. Like the people that got it, lost it, got it back, were able to get it back because they knew deep in their soul, in their heart, that they could. Their sense of ability and possibility for themselves, like their identity was so much stronger and more solid than what the failure, you know, the reality of the failure. And they you know, they outdid and outpowered, they outwitted the devil of the failure.
Right.
Play it that way, you know?
Right. And that's where I'm at now. I mean, the optics were killing me, and I don't want to make this about me because I want other people to comment. I want Mel to chime in. Can you put another phone number up there, Mel, or no?
Yeah, I was waiting for an appropriate time for callers to call in. So.
Oh, okay, that's fine. All right, that's fine. Did you have anything you want to add to this, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, oh, you're talking to Mel?
Yeah, I'm talking to Mel. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Jason and I kind of come from the same world. I mean, we've known each other a long time. Knew a lot of the same people and all that kind of happy stuff. And I was just saying in the YouTube chat, Lisa Kay wants to start a local cafe in her town, and it's like there's ways to get there. Yeah, she said she has to work a job. If you can do just a few, just like Jason was saying, if you set up smaller goals and just always have some kind of a task going that is working towards whatever that end goal is.
Like make it a hobby.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, you know, I mean, it just goes back to that. I have a term I call emotional juice, and it just means like, unless you're really supercharged in your emotions and how you feel, how are you going to get yourself to actually focus and take the right actions? Because a lot of people want and, you know, say and wish that they want more for themselves, but they don't have, you know, the brass tacks, the emotional juice to really apply themselves and take the actual actions to make it happen. And I've seen it so many times, and it's such a shame because they'll take actions to work their job. They'll take actions to show up and do that whole thing. And it may be a job they hate, but they do it out of, a sense of obligation to themselves. And it's like the same effort could be just applied in a different way that can open up so many more doors of possibility for themselves. And that's one of the things I love doing, is helping people see and take action towards a better way of doing things, and making the world their oyster as a result.
I think people, what'd you say? It's their obligation to go to work. You said that.
Well,
right?
yeah, they do the effort and they get themselves to take the action based on the obligation to survive by going and working a job. And it's like the same, some people, and it's not across the board in every single 100% of the time, but a lot of people think that people who are massively successful work their ass off 10 times more than average people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, a lot of them may still only work 8, 10, 12 hours a day like most people, but they get phenomenally better results because of the type of work that they're doing, the type of effort that they're doing. And,
right.
It's all about figuring out how to add leverage to the equation.
In my case, in the beginning, I never worked so hard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 years, because I provided a service and I was the only employee, and I busted my butt. I should have swore there, but I'm working on it. But I busted my butt for 2 years being the only employee, starting with $10,000. And I guess my motivator was that, I got fired 2 weeks before Christmas with 2 kids and a wife.
Wow.
So it was either sink or swim. And I was going to school at night at college and working during the day for business management. And I got fired from my last job, and I talked to my wife and I'm like, look, enough's enough. I'm 33. I've been doing this a day out of high school. So I had it, 18 to 33, 15 years. Is my math right? I'm not a math wizard. 15 years I was doing what I was doing. And they say that to become an expert at something, you have to have 10,000 hours under your belt. And Mel and I have talked about this before, which is approximately 5 years of work at 40 hours a week, if that math works out. But that's what I've read. So I had 15 years in, and I said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's take a chance. I don't want to have any regrets. And we cashed our house, the equity out of our house. And at that time, the mortgage was a 30-year fixed at 8%, and changed it to a 30-year fixed 14% interest rate.
Yeah.
Went 90 days. Hardly anybody called in. The company business checking account got down to $100. I was feeding my family on credit cards. Then all of a sudden, bam. It's like the floodgates opened. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. And I had a pretty good run for 20 years. And maybe you can comment on this, Jason. I asked every business owner questions before I went in, because you're trying to get your confidence up. And once you make that jump, there's no turning back. Once you jump, you're there. You can't go back.
Exactly.
And when I said to any of them, no, well, you work, you bust your ass. I swore, sorry. You bust your ass, this, that, whatever. It's a whole different set of problems, blah, 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 blah. And I said, yeah, but this is the question I asked them. I said, do you have any regrets? And every single one of them said no. And I would do it again.
Yeah, love it.
Swear to God. And I would say the hell that I've been through, and I'm writing a book, honestly, about my experience. And I would do it again. I would do it a different way, because like I said, what I was learning in business, being successful, was a whole different set of lessons that I learned while I was failing.
Mm.
And in my opinion now, because when you're successful and everything's great, and I mean, I don't care. I don't mind sharing. I don't know what you make. I don't expect you to share. But at the top of my game, I was making $350,000 a year. I had 2 houses. I had a boat. I had cars. I had snowmobile. I had all the crap that a person could possibly want, and probably 2 of each of them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're on top of the hill, I don't even want to get into that, but you're a mark. It's like when you're king of the hill, when you're kids and you're on top of that snow hill or grass hill, depending where you live, people want to knock you down. And that is a very, and family too. I'm not going to get too much into this, but the people that you think you're providing and protecting for, and your competitors and employees sometimes want what you have. And I never thought that would happen in a million years, and never say never. But the lessons that I learned from that experience and being torn down to nothing and losing everything was my failure. And I've learned, so between my success, which I look at half the experience of being an entrepreneur and business owner, the other half of the experience or the book or that book of my life as far as an entrepreneur is also failure.
And the challenges that come with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know, that there's, I don't mean to cut you off if you're.
No, I'm done.
So I think that it opens up a whole other door of conversation. Like how you handle and how you face challenges in your life will determine the level of success and outcome that you end up with. And it really does boil down to that, because nobody's life, it doesn't matter who it is, it doesn't matter what level you think they're at, anything, nobody has zero challenges. But the people who, you know, become successful in all areas of life, this could be financial, this could be relationships, this could be all kinds of things. They all, you know, there's no relationship, no matter what it is, doesn't have challenges. No career or business doesn't have challenges. How you look at it and how you're willing to kind of reshape it in your mind and how you think about it can open up different viewpoints and perspectives that can show you how to get past it. And in some cases, how to leverage it into much bigger positive things than you ever realized.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, and then we'll get into, because people want to know. I have to go, you have to go back, but you have to go back to that night when you were sitting watching that stupid infomercial. I mean, no offense, whatever. Because they're kind of
it's all good.
They are kind of corny, you know. And I don't know which, you didn't say which one you watched. I don't think if you did, then I don't mean no disrespect. I'm just saying.
No, it's all good.
You have to remember, you and I have to remember, and Melissa have to remember, and the other owner is in the chat room, this network. You have to remember sitting there going, I hate my job. This sucks. I want to make some money. I'm tired of making other people money. I want to move on. I just want to be better, period. And whatever the catalyst was, for me, it was getting fired. I actually literally had to get fired for me to make that jump. But what about people that they're complacent, they're obligated? I was going to say they're secure. They know they have a job. They know they have a paycheck, which is an illusion, by the way. But they think they got that and they got it made, and they're going to work until 50, 55, 60, 65, whatever. And they're going to get that pension and retirement. And then they're going to enjoy the rest of their lives playing golf or whatever they want to do, which again is a myth. And actually it's a lie to that now today. But I want to ask you this question. You wrote a book, and if you want to say your book, that's fine. But what is your ultimate favorite business entrepreneurial book?
Wow. I mean, you know, I have to get on the bandwagon of so many people. Think and Grow Rich was a huge one for me.
See, I haven't gotten through that one yet. I'm reading that one right now, believe it or not.
Nice. And I'll tell you, you know, the thing about Think and Grow Rich, and I'm sure you, depending on how far into it you've gotten, definiteness of purpose.
That's another,
you know, like
Napoleon Hill book, or that?
No, that's part of Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the book. I'm actually on that right now. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but successful people are taking the idea in their head and they're making it real and bringing it into reality.
Yeah, and a really interesting point about that is unwillingness to accept it not being reality.
Mm-hmm.
because if you, I mean, again, back to the challenges, like if you let challenges, big or small, and some people let the smallest challenge just completely derail and end the whole process for them. And it's like, really? Because, I mean, what? You know, like you get a flat tire trying to get to work, you're going to figure it, you'll call your boss and let them know you're going to be late, but like you'll end up getting there. It's like, it's just a flat tire, you know, and people let smaller things than that even derail their, you know, their kind of their path to success. And they'll do what they need to do to make sure they get to their job so they don't lose their job.
Right.
But they won't do simple things to actually make their lives better for themselves outside of that. And it's like, what? Really? I don't know.
And you
no
know,
judgment. It's just like if they were able to look at it from a objective perspective, they'd realize, what the hell am I doing letting that stop me?
right, like you said, with a definite purpose, which I think it's also in outwitting the devil. But in my opinion, that is probably self-sabotage for whatever reasons. People can do it. Anybody can do it. They can. They really can. But when they start getting out of that comfort zone, and this is what Napoleon Hill calls it, the hypnotic rhythm, which for an analogy and a visualization, to me, that's like you open up your washer and you're in the spin cycle and you're just going around, you know, you're one of those towels or shirts that's being spun and you can't get out of that hypnotic rhythm as long as that thing's spinning like that. And when people can actually start seeing that they can change their life because of the unknown, I think they get afraid and they self-sabotage themselves.
So true. The self-sabotage factor is just, it's a killer. And a lot of times people can't like take an objective, you know, step out and look at it from an outside third party perspective for a second and get neutral enough to be able to see it for what it is instead of, you know, being wrapped up in their emotions of how they wish it was maybe.
Exactly.
And, yeah, it's crazy. It's wild.
I think it's all fear-based because there's no being a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a leader. I'm going to say this: it's like being a parent. I mean, when somebody becomes a parent, they're scared to death because they don't know what to do. What does that mean when the baby's crying? What is this? What is that? And analogous to just walking away because of one setback, you're not gonna leave the kid or abandon your kid and not be a parent anymore because you got to change their diaper, you know, or something like that. And being a parent is very intimidating, and it's unknown and uncharted territory. It's the same thing with the business. When you go off on your own, you're at the tip of the spear. And that's something that I learned too, on a positive note in being successful, that you're blazing your own trail, and you and only you are going to be accountable for all the mistakes that you make. Whereas you can just blame it on your coworker. You can blame, I mean, you just could blame it on your boss. You could blame it on a company sucks. You know, this place is horrible. I don't like their policies. No, you can't do that. You can't do that when you're running your own company. You're at the tip of the spear, in the front line, head of the line, charging ahead, and you get hit with everything. And anything you do, whether it's negative or positive, there's going to be consequences for that.
Absolutely true.
Okay.
But you can learn from whichever outcome it is. You can learn amazing things from it.
Absolutely.
And unless you learn amazing things from it, you're going to have a freaking really challenging time.
Oh, it's very empowering, and I could see how people get. I'll just say this without getting too far into it, but when I delegated my power and authority to people, my right hand man, service supervisor, whatever, power corrupted them, and I can see how that can do that to. I'm not saying everybody. This isn't stereotypical or blanking it, but
sure.
You know, you could be on a roll and be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company or your own company. And like, look what we're doing. We're kicking ass. We can't make a mistake. And then they get the God complex, like, oh my God, you know, nobody's going to touch us. Our competitors are way behind us, and we're just going to be, you know, king of the hill forever, which is a very big mistake, by the way.
Yeah,
when you start thinking
that's true.
Yeah, but I can see where the power and the success corrupts because it's very empowering, but you have to be careful when you get to a certain point like that and go, well, we can't be beaten. We're the best. And there's nothing wrong with positive thinking and talking and motivation.
Sure.
If you literally think that and that's your reality, you're going to get a real big surprise very, very soon.
Yeah, it's it's just keeping your ego in check, like
Right. Exactly.
and so really it's that. I mean, you just open up the doors for amazing kind of stuff. None of the millionaires that I've been around, met, or done projects with are cocky bastards. And it's like, if they were, they wouldn't have been included in anything I've ever done. Like, why? Being positive and loving and stuff is so much freaking better. And I don't know. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm glad that you say that, because the stereotypical from and I call us peasants from the government's perspective, or employees think they're peons or whatever. And, if it wasn't for them, the business wouldn't be successful. And a lot of employees are resentful because the CEO is making $1 gazillion and they're not. So there's some just natural hatred and jealousy right in there, just because of the hierarchy and the structure and the big difference in pay raise. And everybody thinks, and I've told Melissa this too, and I tease her, I go, you just sit on your ass all day and don't do anything and go out and play golf and blah, 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 because you're a business owner, you have a Ferrari and you have 3 houses and all that stuff. And there's nothing further from the truth, at least in my experience from that. I really busted my ass being a business owner, and it's not a 9-to-5 job, because you're married to your company, you're dedicated to it. And your company is like an infant. It's an entity, but it's an infant that never ages time-wise as far as intelligence. And the company will become the entity of how you treat it. So if you're a corrupt, greedy, narcissistic asshole, that's going to be your company. But if you busted your butt, you wanted to give everybody opportunity and want to do the best that you could, then that's going to be your company.
Absolutely. And one of them and that second one is 1,000,000 times more fulfilling. And, I'm going to get emotional about how freaking powerful the difference what you're talking about is.
Oh, exactly. But some people, and what's the mistake on this, or the, I don't know if you want to make it a mistake. I would just say misguided, or you better look at your priorities and why you're going into business, because people have asked me, should I start my own company? I want to make a lot of money. And I say right away, I say no. And they go, why? I said, because you just told me why you're going into business. And that is not the reason to go into business.
It won't keep you going past the challenges. It won't put you in a position to really get the success that you want. It's like, people all the time have asked, and this is, just goes back to what we're talking about here. Like, people have asked me a number of times, like after I've gotten off stage and speaking opportunities and stuff like that, they're like, let me ask you really point blank, why do these millionaires keep on working when they have more money than most people will ever make in 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes? Like, what the hell? And it's like, because they're not doing it for the money.
Right.
I mean, literally, if they could do anything in the world they want for a living, and they can, what would they do? That's what they're doing. They have their freedom to be able to make the choice to do what they would love to do, what they're passionate about doing, what they feel a purpose, feel it's their purpose to do. And why wouldn't they? And sometimes I've seen these people just have the look on the expression on their face, and their eyeballs just have like the light bulb moment clicks. And they're like, it just changes their whole world, because they go, well, what if I, focused my mind on coming up with a way to make great money, but in a way that I would do it even if I wasn't making amazing money for it? Like, what if the pay that I got was, pardon me for being corny or whatever, but like emotional fulfillment?
No, that makes
passion,
sense.
excitement, something that like, imagine like, are you a dad? You're a parent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine the excitement and feeling of your child coming home and having the biggest smile on their face. So the smile is so big, it's coming out their eyeballs, and they're getting excited about something. And like, why not, why not do things that make you like that in the business, as an entrepreneur and, on your path to success? It's, I don't know, the opportunities and possibilities are there. It's just a matter of looking at things from the right perspective and then using your mind in the right way to, and this is, one of the things I teach in one of my products, like seeing the world from the right viewpoint and in the right ways, and then using your mind to think about how you can turn that into ideas and opportunities to, really make amazing things happen as an entrepreneur. It opens up a whole world of possibilities. So,
hey, do you remember the Passion Test, Chris and Janet Atwood?
Yeah.
I still recommend that book to people.
Yeah, it's timeless. I mean, it's
and it helps you find exactly what you were just talking about finding that one thing that you would do regardless if you got paid or not.
You just gave me a new little Jasonism, I call him. And I'm going to call it Find Your Giddiness Gold.
Oh, I love it.
Nice. See what you do now, you inspire people.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's just awesome. That's just the way she is. So, okay, I got to throw out just a little quick thing. So depending on how long we go here, so after I did all those first projects, I was, and you said some stuff earlier that triggered reminding me of this. Did a lot of really cool stuff, had some, decent success. And then I learned what's really possible on the opposite side of the equation. And I'm just explaining this to explain why a memory challenge might happen. I had a stroke that triggered a brain aneurysm that put me in a coma for 10 days with a 12 to 15% chance of survival. And just as I was running up to the emergency room doors, screaming my head off in pain, the aneurysm ruptured. And it was right when the doors of the emergency room opened up and I face planted on the ground. That was the beginning of the coma for 10 days. And anyway, sorry, I said all that to explain this, that when it ruptured in the part of the brain where short to midterm memory is. So like the majority of what we've talked about, I don't remember because my short to midterm memory got wiped out. But it made me more kind of in tune and appreciative of emotion. And one of the biggest reasons why is that I learned that the things that I do remember with the memory challenges that I have are the things that I have the most emotion for. And I came up with a little term for that. Emotion is the glue that makes memory stick. And emotion is the fire that can make you keep on taking the actions and pushing forward through challenges entrepreneurially, and in business. And nobody should expect to go into business and it's just all going to be rosy, fantastic, awesome the entire time. There's going to be challenges, but you can get through those just like other challenges that you've gotten through. And, that sense of internal power and fortitude and knowing that you can is one of the most important foundational factors of people who become successful. And I know I spun off from emotion to a whole other thing, but
it's fine.
It's that internal fortitude and really supercharging your, this is another aspect of this too. There's things that need to be done to become successful that you may not love and enjoy and be passionate about. But if you turn the emotion that you have for what it'll be like, that what you'll be able to feel when you do accomplish the thing that needs to be done, the actions that need to be taken to get there become a whole lot more, you become a whole lot more willing to take those actions. And this goes back to mindset and using your mind and your emotions to be able to help you and to be a tool, and really, open up the doors for amazing things too. So for whatever that's worth.
No, that's very true. I read that somewhere along the lines of what you're saying. Most powerful public speakers or leaders in the history of the world have spoken with emotion, which makes
so much more impact.
Yes, it does. And quite honestly, I mean, this show, when people listen to it, they go, "What's it about?" And I say, I don't know. But I come on here, and it's more of it's like Saturday Night Live meets Jerry Springer meets, I don't know, whatever we talk about. And I'll go out there on a limb and say some crazy things, and I'll use profanity, I'll say this and I'll say that. But when it's on the verge of like shocking people, but I am an emotional person, but not to the point of all over the place. Just if I'm going to say something, I'm going to say it. And I've said some things that I don't even agree with, because I'll listen to the show later in the truck and I'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. But people remember that. If I just came on here and said, well, we're talking to Jason Oman, blah, 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 nobody's going to retain any of that.
Yeah.
You got to throw emotions into things, but not like a psychotic, out of control person that reacts on everything. But without emotion, I mean, that's a great statement, what you said. Without emotion, it is the glue, and I just don't think anything's going to stick together. I mean, that's a great point.
Well, it's not just the glue that makes memory stick. It's the fuel that leads to, taking the actions. Like, why do millionaires get up out of bed and focus on really cranking things out to the next level? They're not going to be able to do a whole lot more than they already can in their life. It's not going to provide extra, opportunities and possibilities beyond what they already can. It's because of the emotional fuel, the charge, the purpose, just being able to smile about the difference you're making in the world.
That's exactly right. The passion to change the world. And you're saying all that stuff, and the person that pops into my head right away is Steve Jobs.
Ooh, yeah. Wow.
I don't know if you ever heard this, but I read his book, and I'm not a huge fan of him or whatever. But I definitely respect his out of the box thinking and his entrepreneurial and his marketing. And when they were coming up with the iPhone and the iPod and the iPad and all that, the people in the room said, well, we need to ask our customers what they want. And Steve Jobs said, how can we ask our customers what they want when they don't even know what they want?
Exactly. And they don't know what's even possible.
Exactly. So what you're saying, I mean, Steve Jobs, I'm sure he loved getting out of bed and like, what can I invent today? How can I make people's world a better place? How can I get a computer in front of every person on the planet in their house? And that's how they came up, with music, photos, everything that's sentimental and emotional. There's the word again, emotional, that has a connection to people. Who doesn't want to look at pictures and listen to music at your fingertips?
Yeah, and a device that fits in your pocket too.
You're right, because first it was the Mac, and then it was the, I don't know the exact chronological order, but then the iPod, and then the phone and the iPad and all that crap that came out, and he changed the world
in so many profound and amazing ways.
Yeah, he didn't do it.
The world is never going to be the same because of what's possible.
That's right, and he didn't do it for a bigger paycheck or a increase on a stock price or any of that. He did it because he wanted to change the world,
make a difference.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, we've gone an hour now. I don't know how much time you have, and I'd like to take some phone. I know the time flies. I warned people. I should have warned you that.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah. I would love to take phone calls if we could, and then I want to focus whatever you want to talk about. I'm not trying to steer you a bit. People that are hearing this, whether they're in their car, watching it on YouTube, Spreaker. I mean, Melissa has us signed up on so many platform, I guess. Yeah, that is crazy. It's a good crazy. But people need the little shove, whether they're 18, just graduated from high school. Should I go to college? Shouldn't I go to college? Or they're 25 or 30 and now they got married and they're going to have a kid. Or should I go off on my own? Or shouldn't I? Or you're 40, or so on and so on and so on. Because for every decade I could imagine for people growing older, there's always an excuse why I shouldn't do it. Well, we just had a kid. I just got married. I just bought a house. I just bought another car. Like, oh, whatever. You know, there's always
those are all the reasons you should do it.
Exactly. But people don't look at it that way. They look at it, well, this is why I shouldn't do it, because I don't want to risk my livelihood and take a chance on losing all that for something that I'm probably not going to be successful at. That's how people think. They do. Yeah. They do. I don't know what catalyst it's going to take for somebody to go, you know what? I just got to do this. I got to incorporate, I got to get my bank account. I got to get an EIN number. I got to get insurance. I got to get my business license, all those little baby steps. That's the tasks that you need to do. But the first thing you got to do is take both your feet. And this is just the analogy visual. Take both feet and jump as far as you can into your own world of an entrepreneurial business. And you can't go back. And we got to get that across to people that you just got to jump. You just got to do it.
Yeah. So many people think like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? And a bad thing. Well, what if amazing happens?
Exactly.
A boat is safe in the harbor, but it's not what it was built for.
Ooh.
Man, we're coming up.
Love it.
We're coming up with all kinds of sayings. It's great.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, it's
awesome.
It's really limitless. I mean, I was more successful than I ever thought I would be. I really was. Yeah, I never thought in a million years that I would make in my heyday, which it's all relative and I'm not blaming, but when I first started and busted my butt, right before the meltdown, our sales were 1.7 million for that year. And I started with nothing. Nice. Yeah, nothing. Now, compared to other people and this and that and Apple Computer I started in my basement. Steve Jobs started in his garage, whatever. But the thing is, there are no limits. You can take this thing as far as you want to go with it.
It's so true. And part of it is having a vision that inspires you and ignites your passion to take the actions to make it happen. Like if you don't envision, and a lot of people talk about visualization, all that, and athletes use it, it's so proven in so many different ways, but so few people do it. And it's like, if you don't see yourself in a better possibility and, with more options, the likelihood of you ever being in a position to have more options is pretty much zero.
Right.
So.
One
more. I should just throw out one. I guess I already. Oh, yeah, never mind. See, this goes back to the memory thing. I already talked about the memory in the head issue. So go ahead.
What's your favorite business movie?
Well, throw a couple out, and it'll remind me, and I'll pick one. That's a memory thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing pops in my head because it hasn't been recent enough to. I love them all. I mean, they all, almost across the board, are like at least one or more characters who just didn't stop, who kept on going. So many people let things stop them, like we were talking about, and it's like, don't let things stop you. When you're driving and there's somewhere you really need to go, and a red light shows up, you stop, and then you keep going again. Like you push your gas pedal and you keep going. Don't let things stop you.
And I think you have to be very task oriented because there's a lot of anxiety that comes up with this kind of stuff. Because, like I said, you're it. You know, you're the shield for everything, and you get barraged from all types of angles, from customers to the government to employees to vendors to the landlord and insurance. I mean, it's endless. And anybody that is has a challenge, I guess is the best way to put it, with anxiety. One of two things are going to happen. It's either going to get worse or you're going to learn how to deal with it. Now, I never had anxiety until I was losing everything, which was my wife and my pets and all my materialistic stuff in my family and my business. And I experienced anxiety, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And I won't get on drugs for it. That's just me. And I did see a therapist. And the only way that I dealt with it at the time was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, which I do not recommend to anybody. And I'm not a smoker. But it did help me because my son has PTSD. And I said, Josh, I get this tingling, prickling sensation and I can't think. And I start freaking out and I'm walking in circles. He goes, well, Dad, that's anxiety. Have a cigarette. So I did. But I don't want to say that I'm cured from it or whatever, but I haven't smoked in over a year now. And anytime I start having things as a barrage on me and getting hit with this and hitting with that, it's task oriented. It's like, okay, I have 10 things coming at me at once. I take them in priority and I go, okay, I'm going to do this one. And this is what I'm going to do next, like a task list or to-do list. Now I got this one. I'm going to do that. And so on and so on and so on. And I can't tell you, if you really think being an employee is difficult and you have too much to handle, wait till you become a business owner.
Yeah.
And
it's how you really get yourself to focus on what's important right now.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, if you don't apply yourself on productive, focused things, then yeah, it's going to build up and get worse and worse and harder.
Mm-hmm.
But as you focus on specific things and accomplish it and see a positive result from it, it really makes you realize, if I can do that, what else can I do? And that, you know, one of the things I have in one of my programs is called the law of growth. You don't have to accomplish $1 million overnight to get to $1 million.
That's right.
You know, and it's take a step, take the next step, take the next step, look at the steps you took that were successful and say, what was it that made that successful even better? How could I have done that faster, easier, with more leverage? How could I have made an even bigger, better result from that? And, you know, be willing to take the action to get the experience and then look at the experience and say, how can you make it even better?
Exactly. Well, we have our first call. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's rock.
All right, let's go. Here we go. Here's our first call. Hello.
Hello.
Who's this?
How are you?
Hey.
I bet I know who that is.
Uh-oh.
You do know who this is.
Timmy's in trouble.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
You didn't do it. No, great show tonight, Tim. Appreciate it. Scarlett here, everyone. Hello. I am the other co-owner of Freedom Revolution Network. I've just been sitting here thinking about things, right? Because, you know, in the chat, there's been a lot of introspection. People have been talking about their ideas and how they feel about things and just ideas. And it's been a good little session with everybody listening to what we've been talking about. And I think my takeaway is, I would say 90% of, you know, running your own business and making things work is getting over mental blocks.
Oh, yeah. It is the thing. I mean, you know, the actions necessary. And it's so funny. We all prove it to ourselves. Like, we look at something and it looks like a big mountain to climb and accomplish. And then we do it and we look back on it and we're like, why did I make that so hard on myself? Mm-hmm. It was all your own mental, you know, picture and perspective.
It is. And it's just something that I've been thinking about. It's actually given me some motivation because, you know, Mel and I are trying to create an empire out here. So it just made me really think about what we need to do and just let things go a little bit more and look more long-term, short-term, medium-term, and just kind of make things in perspective, but also reasonable, right? Like, be okay when things just aren't working out the way you thought it was going to. You know, that, like I said, it goes back to that most of it's mental. Most of it's mental hurdles and challenges that you're breaking through to get to the next level, to achieve the next set of goals you have, right?
Absolutely. Nobody accomplishes great things without challenges along the way, and somehow they did it. They're just a person too. That means you can.
Right. I think we put too many boundaries on ourselves, though, of what we think it should be, what society thinks it should be, and if we live for the moment and what we love to do, I think that will benefit us and serve us all. It's easier said than done, though, right?
Well, that's two great points you just made. Yeah, I mean, if you don't find aspects of what you're doing, or find things that you could do that you can really love, where's the fuel going to come from to get through the challenges that are undoubtedly going to come? And a lot of people look at, well, what if this and what if that? You know, like I was talking about earlier, what if you get a flat tire? Well, guess what that thing in the trunk of your car is? A spare. Like, there's always a way to get through any challenge. You just got to be open to, thinking through what are the possibilities, what needs to happen to get to the next, to accomplish this, and then get to the next level from there.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it just brought a lot of things to light and to mind that, maybe I haven't thought about and went through those things and kind of just stepped into and processing, my own self. Sometimes we're so busy doing things that we don't sit back and process our goals and where we're at in progress, and, just checking to make sure there always is progress, but are you acknowledging it as progress?
Ooh. Yeah, it's so important to do that because it builds your sense of belief of what you're capable of, so that when those challenges, that inevitably will come, when they do, you've built up such a sense of belief and power and knowledge that you can conquer things. It doesn't becomes no big deal. It's just, okay, what's the next thing I need to break? What's the next roadblock I need to conquer?
Right.
And the challenge is that what you're going to run into, there's no set answers for it.
No.
Yeah, but there is answers though.
Correct. Right. And it takes more power and thought process to procrastinate a challenge than it just to say, you know what, this is what we got. This is what we got to do. Brainstorm, talk about it in a meeting, do whatever you got to do. Read a book. I don't know, do something. Look on YouTube, listen to the show. I don't care. But there's answers out there. Because I asked you what your favorite movie was, Jason, and believe it or not, my favorite, and this is kind of the trick thing here, my favorite business entrepreneur movie is The Martian.
Wow.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen that one. That's one of the newer ones since my head happened.
Oh, well, it's a sci-fi movie, and Matt Damon's stuck on Mars, and he doesn't have a choice.
Oh.
He doesn't have a choice but to survive. And the answers, you're watching this movie and you're like, oh, he's screwed. He's dead. He's not, there's no way he's going to live. And he comes up with all these answers to solve a problem one by one by one by one. And he ends up back on Earth.
He has one aha moment after another, it sounds
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what you have to do. And need I remind people or say, you're going to have to be right 99.9% of the time when you make your decisions, even whether it's going to be popular or not. I went through that a million times. And it's like, once you make your decision, you're just going to have to do it and go forward with it. Unless, of course, you're driving yourself off of a cliff or self-destruction. And you go, you know what? I made a mistake. We got to think this out and try a different angle.
You got to know when to adjust.
Exactly. Yeah. Change course. Right.
Yeah. Very cool.
Well, yeah, I think it's sometimes you just gotta, ride it out. When we started the network, do we even create it? What do we do? Okay, well, I love to bring the news. I love to bring knowledge. I love to bring facts, right? So then I was like, well, can't not do it. All right, well, how do we do it? Okay, well, we know a few things of how to do, and most of everything else has just been learning because we want to achieve this, and I see it, and I can visualize it. Mel can execute it. People like Tim bring it to the table.
I like to build things.
You do like to build things.
I like to build things.
And I like to think about ideas. And so, you know, it's kind of like but we had to get through, we had to go through those steps to even be like, well, how are we even going to make this real? Because it sounded crazy, right? Create
It didn't sound crazy to me.
Well, it sounded crazy to start up and be running within like 2 to 3 weeks. And we did.
Not to me.
So, well, to me it did. So, you know, at first I was like, that's crazy. Like, can we even do this? Like, is this even possible? And as we started putting pieces together, they just started clicking like puzzle pieces or Lego or, you know, it's just like interconnected and it just kept building on to that next level.
Everything
and we
is
created
a
a foundation, you know?
Everything is a process.
Yeah.
It probably didn't seem crazy. It probably seemed unobtainable.
Yeah. There you go.
I needed
that's
somebody
a better word.
like her to kind of light a fire under me to build it.
Right. Because I can dream big. You know, I can dream big. We can go big.
And I can build just about anything anybody throws at me, so...
Yeah, so far it's been great. I mean, us working together and trying to figure out new ideas and new challenges and, you know, just thinking about, like I said, tonight was like a reflection for me to just think about, well, you know, yeah, we did create this. And what does that mean for us now? And what does that look like for us tomorrow? And how do we make things better? Because we're always trying to innovate. But how do I bring new tools into my toolbox to innovate?
Exactly. Yep.
Huge, huge, huge. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I mean, it's really, there's enormous power with being willing to focus on what are the steps that need to be taken, take them, look at the process you went through, look at the result you got, and say, how can I plus that? How can I make that even bigger, even better? What was the thing I did that worked? What was the thing I didn't that I should have done now that I have, you know, perspective looking at it? What's the reverse perspective? What's the wording I'm trying to think of there? Think in reverse, like think about the past.
Kind of reverse engineer it.
Yeah, kind of reverse engineering. Break it down and say, okay, you know, look, you can look at it different. You have so much more power and ability to look at things from the reverse perspective after the fact. Like so many people don't take action because they're worried about things. It's like, just take some action and then look at it and say, how could that have been better, bigger, easier, faster, more systemized, more automated, whatever the case may be. And
have you heard of the book 8 Laws of Change?
Ooh.
No.
I like the sound of that.
Okay. So right. Because see, the one interesting thing, and this man was on Coast to Coast quite a few years ago. Can't remember when. I listened to Coast for the last 20 years. Can't tell you. But what I can tell you is this man wrote this book. And he kind of came up through the civil rights era. And he was talking about how, you know, grassroots and literally just even telling people, you know, about what you're doing and what your idea is and where you want to go. And just through the exponential, like, you know, 6 degrees of separation, it can eventually saturate the whole country, the whole world just from your idea. But you have to put forth the effort to go at least tell that one person. Right? So it's simple things that you can put in motion, almost like the butterfly effect, you know, but you have to take that action. It's not just going to show up for you while you're sitting on your couch, you know, eating Cheetos and watching Netflix.
It's amazing the scenario that he just described, like people coming up with an idea and they think, oh my God, that's an awesome idea. And then they throw it into the back burner, never do a damn thing with it. Nobody's ever benefited, themselves or anybody else. And it's like, what if you would have done something with that?
Yeah. Just simply telling other people. Yeah. Being passionate about just even telling people. Let's say you don't have the financial means, you have nothing else, but just telling people. How do you know by just telling people that doesn't then open up an opportunity or a meeting or, you know, you find someone who knows someone? Just that the open-endedness of possibilities once you make that first step could be exponential, right?
Yeah, like you may think you couldn't do a certain thing. Well, think through who could. Okay, how do you get in touch with that person or learn how that person would do it?
Right.
And move forward, keep taking action, you got to keep a positive perspective of what's possible and what you're capable of. And so many people sell themselves short. And until they do something and have some level of success, even if it's tiny or small, success can build on itself to bigger and bigger things if you take the first steps, get the first accomplishments and success, and then keep taking things to bigger, better levels from there. So yeah.
Yeah, so 8 Laws of Change, I highly recommend that book just because
I wrote it down.
It builds on the different ways that you can create the change that you kind of want to see, right? We always hear that cliche term, but it's true. If you create the change you want to see, if you think of like the law of attraction, things of that nature, emotion code, you can kind of control what's around you by your energy, right? So I think that is a principle that people forget. It's a simple one, but it's literally just changing your mindset or being open if you're not into the mindset, new agey stuff, whatever, but just being open to, I think helps. And people don't realize how much, if you're always negative about it and say, well, I can never, well, you'll never.
Yeah, that's right. A self-fulfilling prophecy like no other.
That's right.
Can't, never could.
Exactly. You're done before you even started. It's like the Death Cab for Cutie lyrics. So I built you a home in my heart with rotten wood, so it decayed from the start. It's that idea that you can infect something. It's like the Dr. Emoto Water Project. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, where Dr. Emoto people put energy and emotion and just even said words over the water, and then they looked at it under the microscope, and words like angry and bad and this and that showed up like really nasty looking. And, peaceful words and words that brought hope and inspiration look like beautiful, like snowflake crystals.
Like harmony.
Right. So people think that, it's just not that simple, but it actually is. When you live that mindset and lifestyle, things start happening around you, exponential effects.
So true. Exponential effects is a huge thing, and it takes action and willingness to really make some forward progress and then think, okay, how can we take it to the next level from here? Like everybody, you got to start somewhere. Any action is 1 billion trillion times better than none. Mm-hmm. And then learn from it and ask yourself the right questions. That the whole thing about, wow, that was really cool. Look at the results I got. How could I have gotten even better results? How could I have gotten those results faster, easier? How could I have added more leverage? What bigger things could I have created if I would have done it this way instead? And it starts this whole process of asking yourself really powerful questions that can open up the doors for more ideas and more possibilities.
Well, and I think what Tim brought up, too, about the way you treat people also matters, and, the attitude you have towards them and how you feel about people who are working with you. I feel like everybody here on the network is like a colleague, right? We're all on the same level. We're all content creators. We're all doing our thing. But I think that a lot of times, too, people still stay in that binary mindset of what jobs are supposed to be, and I'm supposed to be in control, and I need to control and micromanage everything. And I think that expectations also need to kind of be brought to the side about, especially if your business interacts with people and you have employees or you have people you work with. Now, what does that look like? Envisioning your dream and goal with other people, because that now changes it into a new direction. If your hard line, in my way is the only way, you'll probably end up alone.
Yeah, and failed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
It's just, it's that positive attitude thing, and it can be applied in a lot of different ways. And, dead on bullseye, what you're saying.
I want to ask.
Go ahead. No, okay. You go ahead. It's your show.
You're going to, you're not one.
Yeah, but it's your show. So go ahead.
Okay. Wow. I am.
Gotta love us.
I am going to ask Scarlett and Mel one question, and you have to answer it with one word.
Oh, I like this game. Okay, I'm up for it.
Answer something with one word only? Really? Have you heard us talk? Seriously?
He knows both of us. We're long-winded, but I think I can do this. I'm up for the challenge, right? We got to try new things. Okay. I'm here for it.
What's the one single word that made you two finally push yourself over the edge to start this network?
Ooh.
Do I say it?
Now look here, like, really think about it, okay? Because I know what you're probably gonna say, but I'm gonna think about mine. You can go ahead if you want, Mel. That's cool, but I'm gonna sit over here and think about mine.
Well, I know what pushed me over the edge. But it's I don't know that we really want to talk about it.
One nice
Okay,
one nice
I got
word.
it. I have a word.
Yes, one word.
I got the word. Okay, you want to hear my word?
Yeah, of course, please.
Redemption.
See?
Oh, that was a good one.
Redemption. That's what I was here for. That's what I came for. Redemption. To be, not even like in a malicious way, but just redemption in the fact that I needed to be able to show myself I could do it.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly
so
what I did. Go ahead.
Redeem yourself to yourself.
Redemption.
Right.
Yep.
Nice.
So what? Okay, I'm having trouble thinking of one word. I know there's a word out there, but proving it to myself. Proving to myself that I could do it. That I really know what the hell I'm doing.
Worthiness. What about worthiness?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Because I know where you're coming from in that with your own personal
Well, yeah,
background.
because you and I. Well, yeah, and you and I talk about my actual paid work.
and we talk about our aspirations, how we got here, because we also wanted to know that too. I think any genesis of a good story, you got to go to how you got there, right?
Yeah. I think worthiness is probably a really good one for me.
So those are the two words that pushed you to do this. Yeah. See what? It wasn't money or fame or
hell no.
or anything. It was a catalyst that seemed like it was out of frustration, and you knew you could do it or do it better, and you did it.
Yeah,
we did. Yeah, and that's what it was about, and that's what it's always going to be about, is having quality news. We want to be, the news network people turn to hear, alternative opinions and hear, the hardline news and do those things and be different and be alternative and not be censored and be truly free. That's
truly
what it's
protect
about.
that First Amendment that we fight for.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what it's about for me. It'll never be. I mean, if we can make money along the way, that's wonderful. But if we only stay open and generate enough just to be able to do what we do, still happy.
Yeah, I mean, this is that one thing that just it's.
I don't know what I would do with
myself.
myself.
Base passion. And
I don't know what I would do with myself for
It's
time.
like a calling.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do with myself. Otherwise,
I know what I'd be doing with myself.
I'd be standing on like a corner with like a bullhorn, like Alex Jones, just screaming things at people, and I don't think people would like that very much. So I better stay over here.
You're an ass kicker. That's what you are.
I know. I try.
Yeah. That's
be
good.
on it. Well, you got to have fire and passion, right? Like we were talking about, something's got to motivate you and drive you, and injustice drives me. Injustice, corruption, lack of freedoms, those things just irk, they grind my gears.
And
I cannot stand by.
And I've been
I want people to secure their own rights.
I've been
I want people to secure their own freedoms.
Completely censoring everybody and pulling people's stuff without even there being anything wrong with it.
Right.
And I'm tired of it. And I've always wanted to have a place where people didn't have to worry about what they post and I mean, as long as they're not being hateful to somebody, I don't.
Right.
Oh, to each his own.
Well, once I learned that Mel was kind of like on, we were kind of a little bit, separated in our political, opinions and things, right? I'm not gonna say we're on opposite sides because we're not.
No, I am.
We're not like total opposites, but because we figured out where we came in the middle with that. But once we found that out, we thought of, especially just knowing how tense life is right now with the world and politics, if we can show people that there's a place where people can get along who may not have the same political opinions and can get along and can share news from both sides and not just be like completely biased down to what you want to believe in, because you can do a lot of that and put yourself in an echo chamber these days, right? We could show people how to have a better attitude. And if we want to be the change we want to see, where people can actually get along, have good news, you know, get back to the old school beat journalism, we're going to have to do it ourselves and show it ourselves. So that was another driving force too, is just knowing how serious this was. We got to show people we can get along.
Yeah, I mean, heck, even you and I, Tim, you know, you and I are definitely on opposite sides of the fence on some things. But at the same time, you know, we can sit there and have a discussion. We don't call each other names other than just, you know, being smart Alex. But,
Loving
you know, we
names.
don't do it out of actual anger, you know.
No, absolutely not.
And we're able to talk through things. And we both are very good at expressing our side of things, and we can see each other's side. And that's all it takes, is just people being open to each other. And, you know, that's why I've still got to get our new logo up. But our new logo is red, white, and blue. And it's red and blue on the top and bottom. And it meets in the middle at the white. And, you know, that's what we need to do. We all need to meet in the middle. I mean, there's so many different reasons why this network is what it is.
Well, because networking works, right? When we can be open to each other's mindsets, this is why there's so many networking clubs around the country, so many multi-level marketing groups, all types of different things. Because when people work together and can feel impassioned about something and lifting each other up and having fellowship in something, it gives you the power and drive to move forward. You know, everybody feels connected. Everybody feels like we have each other's back. Everybody feels like, yes, we're on the same page and we're doing this together. That when you have a created sense of ownership in a problem or in an issue, that creates, I do think, a better outcome.
So does that
the possibility of positivity?
Yeah. Does that sound familiar, Jason, what they're saying when you ask people why they went into business? Or because I'm looking for reasons to give people motivation to do it. And these two did it because they knew they could do it better in so many words, and they had the passion to do it. Well, I did. I knew I could do it better.
Well, I mean, we did. I mean, we tried to do all this previously, but we were blocked, and we weren't allowed.
It was stagnant.
Yeah, and it was just, it needed to expand, and it needed to become so much more.
But what do the people do that aren't pushed to the edge like you two were, and I was, and maybe even Jason, to a point where you're watching the infomercials at midnight with a bag of Cheetos and a Pepsi or whatever, and you're like, hey, that sucks, I really got to do something.
Well,
and you did it. What can we do to get people to push them past that line, that imaginary line?
Everybody's got their own quote unquote breaking point, their own pivot. At some point, something in their head is finally going to click, and they're going to friggin' get off their butt and do it.
But it's usually. Go ahead.
If I could tell somebody right now something that could get them motivated, would be this. Okay. Instead of wishing shoulda, coulda, woulda, I wish I would have tried, I should have done this, I should have done that. If you at least go out and try and fail, you know the outcome. And you can say you had the experience.
And you can change your method and fix it.
Yeah, because you fail when you start a business does not mean it can't be reborn in some other way. Many people have struck out multiple times with different businesses before they found a model and type that was actually successful.
Yeah, Colonel Sanders is one of them. But yeah,
Yeah, he was like 65 years old. Somebody said in chat when he started KFC.
that's right.
That donut sandwich is banging. That's all I got to say. I tried that this week. It's
Don't make
banging.
me hungry. It's like freaking 10 o'clock at night. I don't want to eat.
I know. I feel it. I'm hungry right now, so that's why I'm just like thinking about that and how tasty it was. But he had a good idea, right? So you can't if you can just go out and try it. I think that's it. Like I said, because remember, let's go back to, I'm going to say 95% of it is mental blocks. Just try it. What could happen if you actually go out and try it and then it didn't happen? I mean, we got to be so not afraid to fail and about what people think.
Yeah. Right. No, I know. But Jason, you got don't you have a system or some guidelines to help people do that?
Well, depends on what the outcome, the goal, the desire that they have is. For like my stuff is specifically entrepreneurial based, and it's about really like, for example, one of the things I did is I figured out what are some of the steps that can be taken and created a formula, or figured out, I guess, discovered the formula for how to come up with ideas for winning products, services, and information that could make a positive impact in other people's lives. And when you've got something like that, it puts, fuel under your butt to take the actions to become successful. And, success comes in many different forms and can start small and then grow to higher and higher levels. And if you really, like sometimes there's really huge power in just appreciating and getting excited about small successes. Like sometimes the simple things can ignite you to ignite a passion and excitement and positivity in you and say, that was freaking cool. What else can I do? And keep build the sense of belief in yourself of what's possible. I might be going off in a totally different direction, but build a sense of belief in yourself of what's possible, and then keep building that to higher and higher levels of belief and higher accomplishments. And what could be possible if you built up kind of staircase of accomplishments and sense of possibility, and how big of an impact could you make in other people's lives and in your own life by stair-stepping to bigger and bigger, better things? That's where my mind went. I have no idea if I was on topic because of my memory issue.
No, I think you were. No, I do think you were, because it's really successful businesses. I think that when you get down to like the nitty-gritty, the bare bones, I think that is a part of the formula. I think without that, yes, you could create something that generates money. Yes, you could do, but will it be fulfilling? Will it have longevity? Will you understand why it just fizzled if you do not put the emotional and mental components and the spiritual components into it? No. It won't.
So much amazing things. It's just like, yeah, it's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
It's just fun to even think about and ponder and talk about. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's for me. It's like people that are listening again. What's it going to take for them to make the jump? For me, it was getting fired 2 weeks before Christmas, having 2 young kids and a wife with no income. And
that'll make you do it.
Yeah. And these two, I think I know their story, and I just think they were motivated by getting pissed.
Yeah, there was a special kind of female getting pissed off.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't see
nothing like a woman scorned kind of moment.
Yeah, you ain't never lied on that. So, with that being said, I think it came down to, too, that no matter what, I was going to continue what I was doing in the capacity somehow. So whether I figured that out and it was very small to begin with, but I recognized the potential in Mel right away, and we just hit it off really well. I mean, at first everybody was telling me they told me she was Antifa. Okay.
There were some wild rumors about me, boy.
There were some loud rumors. There were. That's real. I was told she was Antifa, and like COINTELPRO, like all these things, right? And so everybody was like, "Don't be friends with her." And it was like, but hold on, I need to, like, she's the webmaster. I need to work with her. I was station manager at the time. I'm like, I need to work with this woman and see what she's about. I'm going to give her a genuine chance. And you know the reason why I gave her a genuine chance? Because someone else was fired. And so I had to, out of necessity, give this woman a chance or potentially lose everything I had at that moment anyway.
Right. Took a risk.
Yeah, took a risk.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? What's the worst that could happen? We fold and we say we had a good run, right?
And you tried.
Or
Yep.
we tried it and we come out bigger, better than ever, like I think we'll do, because I have the vision to do it. So again, you know, kind of out of necessity.
All failure is learning what not to do. That's all it is.
Yep. And you have to, and you have to experience it to know what to avoid, right? You know, it's like when you're a kid and you touch something hot, and then you know you don't touch no hot shit after that.
Hey, watch
Like-
it.
Yeah, you
Don't
do.
swear now. Hey.
Well, look here.
Don't try this at home.
I know I'm not being censored. Look, I'm being censored on my own network. My worst nightmare. But it's true. You don't touch that anymore. You learn that that is an avoidance. That is something that you don't. But if you don't have the experience, sometimes someone just telling you isn't enough. We all know that. You know, if somebody tells you something and you're like, yeah, right, okay, whatever. And then it happens, they're like, told you so. So you have to
then
have
there's
that
also-
experience.
But then there's also those ones that tell you, no, you can't do that. So
Yeah.
you got to turn around and prove them wrong and show them, here, hold my beer.
Right.
I'm going to go handle that right now.
Right.
Be right back.
Yep, be right back. Keep watching and watch me shine. Okay, started from the bottom, now we're here. I feel that too.
Yourself in the meantime, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
I think
biggest.
it does go both ways, but that's something that I think has been, you know, something that I've always thought about.
That's
It's
my
always
biggest.
been in the mix.
My biggest motivator is when somebody tells me, Tim, you can't do that.
Yep.
Right.
Like, really? Okay. Watch.
Watch me do it.
Watch. And I did. And I did. So very fascinating stuff. It's just like, again, to the point, I'm going back and when I did the jump, and I don't even know if the word jump's the good word. It might be push.
Yeah.
I
Push. The universe pushed you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to get pushed. Like when I started this show back in 2008, 2009, I never thought I would be doing this stupid ass show. And I'm like, what? You know, but the meltdown pissed me off and how it was handled and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wait a minute. You know, something's not right here. And then the rest is history and I'm here now. But yeah, I think there's got to be a push. And in my experience, something that's pushed me to do something beyond my comfort zone has been a negative situation.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of goes back to the whole, you know, necessity is the mother of invention.
Correct.
You know, I think it's just kind of human nature, you know. We get comfortable, so we stay where we're at. Yeah. And it's the status quo, and we stay in that comfort zone, and then something happens to throw us out.
Normalize complacency. Everybody's just comfy where they're at, and they don't want to make any changes because they don't want to lose. They don't want to lose what they have. It's very normal, actually.
Yeah. But and you know, the catalyst, unfortunately, right now, it may be the virus. This virus is going to push a lot of people to working from home.
Oh, you mean the flu? We're going to go on that again?
No, I'm just bringing up, you asked about a catalyst. Well, we've got an active one right now.
No, I get it. I was kidding. It's okay.
I know. But I really didn't want to talk about that tonight, so.
No, we can talk about that. Whenever. What's tomorrow? Tuesday, Wednesday. We can talk about it. Unless you come on tomorrow morning. Why don't you two come on and do the show? I'd like to hear that, actually.
Who, Scarlett and me?
Yeah.
Because she's usually going to bed about the time we're starting our show.
She goes to bed? Did she hang up?
That's a thing.
She hung up.
Yeah, she did. She just kind of disappeared on us.
Wow. Okay.
That was rude. Oh, there she is.
Again. That's right. Oh, I got to unmute her, don't I?
Yeah, you got to unmute.
I'm not going to. That was very rude. You just left. I don't care if you're the owner or not. You get one chance on this show. Okay. Hello.
All right. I'm burning up my chances, you guys. I'm burning bridges.
That's your one.
I don't come around. This is why I don't come around, you guys.
Oh boy. So, no, but it's all fascinating stuff, man. Jason, I really appreciate it. We're coming up on 2 hours.
Yeah, it was great.
Plug your.
By the way,
Go ahead.
I threw your link out to various chats. And it's also, it's on our show page. You can see the different things that Jason offers. And if you're interested in a one-on-one with him, there's a form on there for you to sign up.
Yeah, I saw you have sessions, right, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really kind of, I'm excited to really help people get things going for themselves, because the possibilities and opportunities are there as much as ever, regardless of, any challenges. Like, there's just so much awesomeness waiting to be explored and experienced, and anything I can do to help people make that happen for themselves, I'm all about it.
Well, people are lucky, because most people just fly by the seat of their pants. And when I started my business in 97, I think the only guidance I had was Anthony Robbins, like the giant, awake the giant within you or something like that. I don't know. It was like
Awaken the Giant Within.
Yeah, within. Yeah. And I'll share this and then we can close her. But I listened to all of his discs. They were on CD at the time. I borrowed them from a neighbor, and he was a business owner. Fascinating series. But he said one thing that I did not agree with. And he said, when you become successful, your family and your friends and your neighbors are all going to become jealous of you. And I'm like, oh, you don't know my family and my friends. No, you're full of shit. You know what? That is so true. You should have seen my neighbor's face when I got a new car and a brand new 18-foot jet boat. They're like, oh, where'd you get that from? And then we go, well, we started our own business. And they go, oh, I would never do that. I'm like, well, that's why I have a new car and a boat, and you don't.
Absolutely right.
Right. I mean, I wasn't being an asshole. It's just like, there is rewards, but you need to take the risks. And people that don't want to do that, and then they become jealousy of you, and they see what you have. It's like, look, you can do it too. You just have to make the decision to do it.
It's a bigger risk to not try.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. I wouldn't be here.
If you don't try, you'll never move anywhere. You'll just sit there in a stagnant ditch.
I wouldn't be here talking to you, at least from a former entrepreneur, business owner. Mel and Scarlett wouldn't be sitting here. You wouldn't be sitting here. We all wouldn't be having this conversation right now if not one of us didn't take that risk.
Exactly.
True. It can bring you to a lot of amazing places and a lot of amazing people and things if you're just willing to put yourself outside of your comfort zone for a little bit.
What if you would be willing to find out what you're really capable of?
That'd be awesome.
Because it's always more than any of us think. And no matter how high we go, there's more.
Oh,
the fact that we've gone higher and higher shows there's more. Shows the possibilities are never ending.
There is no limit.
Very true.
The only limits we have are the limits we put upon ourselves.
Yeah, we create our own glass ceiling that we need to break through. And I think we keep doing that to ourselves at multiple levels that we just have to realize we can raise up without hitting that glass ceiling every time.
Well, yeah, and that goes back to the whole breaking things down into smaller goals. You break things down into smaller goals, you break those glass ceilings every time. Yep. And you just keep moving up more and more and more and more.
I think the hardest challenge is making a decision to do it and then do what you guys are saying. You just got to make that decision.
Yeah, you have to make the commitment. That's all there is to it, is you have to make that commitment.
Well, again, it's like
there's nothing else. There's nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't take any action, nothing's going to happen. It's like the show again. I mean, when Mel and I come on every morning, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. An idea what we're going to talk about. But we find something, and just all the dominoes fall in line, and before you know it, it's an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours.
Oh, I couldn't believe that when you were off work those couple of days.
Yeah.
We were going a full 3 hours easy. No problem.
And it went pretty quickly. And the thing is, if I never made a decision and you two women didn't make a decision to do this network, I wouldn't be on here and the network wouldn't be on here. It's just like, you just got to make the decision. Tim, just do the show and shut up. Well, don't shut up, but I mean, just do the show.
Yeah.
I mean, just do it. I mean, I don't like that saying in Nike and sports and stuff because it takes a lot more to be a professional athlete to just do it. But in this case, just to make the start, that's a perfect saying. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, you knew what you were doing when you started, but for new people who start on the network, we give all the training from the ground up. We show you how to do it, from where to click the buttons to start, and we guide you through it from the beginning. I mean, we're here to try to safeguard your success and make you a successful show host. That's the whole point of, why even we're here. We're here to help, and I think having that service component instilled in yourself as a personal belief does help you go farther, truly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we're always, got to put that plug out there, we're always looking for new hosts.
That's why I brought that up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead, Jason.
No, I was just saying, very cool. Love it.
Yeah, I get a lot of rewards out of doing this. I mean, it's just so much fun. I don't do this for money or think I'm going to be famous or anything of the kind. I do this to make people think. And I like giving my opinion, but not on a narcissistic level. I like giving my opinion to bounce it off of people and get their opinion, to try to find some type of guidance and where to go. If that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah, because we don't get a manual when living this life. But I think that's the best thing we've got is bouncing it off other people, using them, crowdsourcing them, so to speak, is the new term, for ways to help each other through this thing, what we call life, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Because there's no book, like you said, and if it was, it'd be wrong anyway.
Right.
Well, Jason, I can't thank you enough for coming on. It was very enlightening and very informative and very motivating for me.
Well, sweet. Thank you guys for having me, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd like to share any more info or Mel, put your webpage in there or anything you want to say or anything in closing, and we'll let you go. I mean, that's, what is that? Yeah, we're right on 2 hours, which is crazy.
Here we go. Yeah. Well, I mean, conversationswithmillionaires.com is an amazing starting point for anybody who really wants to take things to the level that's possible for themselves. And, I love kind of doing anything to help people make it happen.
That's great.
Thanks again for having me, guys.
No, thank you, and I hope you'll come back because it was fascinating. I really like to see the feedback on the show because I loved it. Thank you very much.
Very cool. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you, see you, Jason.
All right.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
All right. Thanks, Jason. It's Jason Oman. Wow. That was it was a great guest, Mom.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
He's an
I
old
know
friend
you
of
said
mine.
you had some skills in that department, and you delivered. So
He's
bravo.
an old friend of mine, and his story is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very inspiring, I would say, and a good talker. I mean, a good communicator. It's great. It just, I wish that was around when I started my business.
Right.
Back in 1997.
Right. All of these business coaches and help people and, lifestyle consultants and people who help you get just help you support yourself on the track of doing these things. You need, if you don't have a mentor, so to speak, these people kind of help fill that gap of the people who help show you that you could do things bigger and better and don't doubt yourself and, really look at what you have and utilize all your tools. I think that is important for people now, you know?
Well, and it is. And, you know, he and all those guys that he used to work with, those are the guys that I learned from. My first company that I was partnered into was Virtual Assistants, and I got to transcribe all of their seminars, and I got to edit their books and things like that. So it was an amazing time back then. It really, really was. But you had to know where to look for that kind of stuff, and it was a whole lot more expensive back then than it is now.
Oh, yeah. They'd be like, get these 10 tapes for the low, low price of $299.95.
See, I used to set all that stuff up.
Right.
You know, so I think, yeah, there's a lot of good free advice out there that, you know, but there's also good paid advice, though. I think people underestimate the value of what you can get out of some of these programs that you invest a little bit into. You know what I mean? Like, you always get return if you invest.
They really can be beneficial, depending on who it's from. And I can tell you that if you get lucky enough to be able to get training from any of those fathers and grandfathers of online marketing and online business, do it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and I think hearing it from Jason kind of just solidifies it. You know, if you like what you heard and you feel like that's the avenue for you to, you know, open up your business, and you feel like he would be someone that you could feel motivated and supported by all means, go ahead. There's a lot of good people out there. You know, and I think it's hearing from them helps.
It's who you drive with. And, you know, quite honestly, in this day and age, if they're not providing you enough of a personal touch to have a direct one-on-one with you, the way that Jason does, I wouldn't even touch them. Because you guys need to, if they're not taking that time to get to know you and to see if your personalities work well together, they're only in it for the money. You know, if they're taking that time and actually getting to know you and what your dreams are and what your passions are, then they're actually interested in steering you in the right direction.
That's true. All right. Well, you two ladies, in my opinion, and I need a raise, so that's why I'm going to say this. I think you two are doing a wonderful job with this network.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It makes us feel good. You know, we don't know. We don't know. Honestly, we don't know. We just put out what we think is good, and we wait for feedback, or, you know, we don't. But
as long as nobody complains, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, if people complain at this point, you can't make everybody happy. That's one thing we also have learned too. You cannot make everyone happy. No matter what decision you make, it's going to piss someone off. So just get ready and be over it before it even begins, because that's real.
Just try to make the right decision. You're not gonna make everybody happy. I don't care who it is.
That's what I mean.
And plain and simple, the hosts and the network come first. Period.
Yeah.
You know, it's all decisions that get made are for the benefit of everyone that's associated with the network, not just us.
Right.
It has
to be.
Yeah, no. It does, because we're all a part of it. We're what makes it what it is. Without everyone, it's not a network. It would be, you know, the Scarlet Show, you know. So I mean, it's
that or Dead Air.
Yeah, Dead Air, yeah, that too. So the network is what keeps it alive. It's all of us. What we put into it makes it what comes out of it, right? And so, you know, we're going to be getting with everybody, you know, here soon, and helping people, you know, navigate the website a little bit better, learning a little bit more tricks and tools, and just to kind of zhuzh up what we've got.
No,
I think that's what.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that's what we need right now is just people, if we give them better tools to execute what they're doing, it gets out to more people might be susceptible, you know, it just kind of makes a better atmosphere. It's like, you know, cleaning up and kind of feng shuiing your space, so to speak.
Right. Well, I've used a lot of programs. I use Blog Talk Radio. I've tried everything under the sun, and I'm going to tell you something. This Zoom thing kicks ass.
It is pretty cool. Hey,
It is
Scarlett.
cool. Yeah.
I have a question. Okay, I know you know how to do this because you did it. You got the videos like side by side instead of flipping back and forth?
Yep.
Make it go. Please.
Make it go.
Yeah.
Oh, you
How
gotta
do you
hit like
make it do that?
you gotta hit gallery view. Hit gallery view there, Tim.
Okay, but it's still on the live part though. It still flips back and forth.
Well, Tim's got to do it.
What do I
And
do?
then it should be speaker view. Like you see how it says gallery view or speaker view up in the top
Yeah.
right hand corner?
Gallery view,
Yeah, hit that and then go to like gallery view. And then we all should just pop up together.
Yeah, we just did. It's on speaker view now.
Yep. Speaker view is like when each individual person will pop up, but then you can do like gallery view where we all could be up at once.
Yeah, all of us are up. Okay, and then gallery view toggles them.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Well, I just have to tell you, Scarlett, I got to tell you this. I saw your show about 3 weeks ago, your medical doctor thing, vaccination thing.
Yep.
And you had a friend on there that she was black and she was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, the one where they had that guest caller.
Yeah.
Oh, that one was. Oh my God, that was so. Funny.
I was watching. I was telling Mel this. I was watching it, and I'm like, there's no way that guy's a doctor, and if he is, he's not very professional. And Mel's like, no, Tim, it's parody, and I'm like, okay, because I was like, wow. And then after I knew that, then I was just rolling, man. That show is freaking hilarious. I'm just letting you know.
You know,
House of
he
Bugs
gets
is a
stopped
good
because
show.
people think he's real.
They do. Well, you know what? We've had doctors act like that, though. I've been in the skin in the game now for like 7 years in the anti-vaccination world. And there are doctors who act like kosher, and that is real. And so that's why he plays off of it the way he does. But, he wants to end up doing he's coming out to ride a bike across America here in a couple months, the Eric Bike Ride Across America. Eric.org is his organization. It's the Advanced Recovery Information Center, Resource Center. He's going to kill me for that. But it's a great organization. It's a 501c3 charity that is dedicated to helping families get detox products to help, a lot of what vaccination side effects are heavy metal toxicities and poisoning. So it's going to help families get some of these expensive detox products that they otherwise would not be able to get subsidized through this organization. So he is going to be riding his bike across the country from San Francisco to Boston in less than 3 months. And he's going to end up in Boston on Independence Day like a good patriot he is. So with that being said, he's going to be coming through Colorado. So we got to give him some love. We got to give him some support. We're going to try to get some, events going on out there. Cool. But he will be driving through Colorado on his bike. Red said she's going to play Eye of the Tiger behind him when he goes over Poncha Pass. Because he's coming right by her, so she's going to come with the boombox playing Eye of the Tiger for him and chasing him and yelling at him.
Is he coming through I-70?
I believe he goes, I don't know if he goes up.
That would be a hell of a trip through the mountains on a friggin' bike. I cannot even
He's
imagine
coming through
that.
some way, though. I think he is going through Utah, though. He might be going up and then down and up back through. He might be, actually, because I know he goes down through Poncha Pass at some point, and I think he comes
He
down.
probably goes south. He's probably going south around the mountains.
He's going some way through because he's got to go. He's got to get through the Rockies somehow that side. So I mean, he's getting through somehow.
Those mountains are hard on a car. I cannot even imagine trying to ride a bike up and
He
down
has
them
that
suckers.
special system though that it sets up to rides, and he's been doing it in his basement now for the last few months. And people have been sponsoring him with like supplements and stuff like that. And so he's got that special software that it can take him anywhere in the world, and then it like sets the tension and what it would feel like and all that. So he's, you know what, Kevin's got this under control. He's going to be great, and I'm really excited for him because this is going to be a great way to, get the word out even about the network and get his organization out there, help him get, people involved and people understanding what the mission's going to be like and what it's going to look like for people in their area. But yeah, no, so he's doing actually some really good stuff. And when we want to do a benefit that's like an SNL style parody comedy benefit at some point. Yeah. So, and we're just going to have a good time and show all it. So that's our idea for that. But I've got to meet Kevin twice in person. And he is crazy. Like, when I first met him the first time in person, like, I was like, he's just cracking jokes at dinner, and he's a little inappropriate. And I'm just like, who is this guy? Like that a little he's the only guy in, like, the sea of 500 women at the Santa Vaccination Conference in Alexandria, Minnesota. Like, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, he's confident. Like, he's got it. Like, and then I saw him doing these videos, and I was like, you know what? You'd make a good show. And that's how it all started, with me just being like, you know what, you make a good show, let's do this, and let's see what we can do and where we can go with it. And that's how it came to be. Sometimes it doesn't have to be, like, technical. Sometimes you just have to think people have a good idea, support them, be behind them, be willing to tell them that they do a great job, and, help them feel like they're comfortable, because he didn't know if he wanted to do anything like that. He had just thought about it in the couple weeks before I had approached him, so it was divine intervention. But, going back on topic for tonight, all it takes sometimes is just me to not be afraid. That's how I got in some good interviews that way, just reaching out to their press offices, reaching out to their media contacts. Sometimes you get hits back. So you just got to try it.
What's the most that's going to happen? Somebody going to tell you no.
Yep.
Big deal.
No does hurt sometimes, depending on what the no is about, but you can get over it. I promise you. Get over it.
No is just a maybe. They just don't know it yet.
Well, that's true too. Sales.
Yeah, well.
There's always a way. I could probably sell, a snowball to, a polar bear in hell. So it's just like, sometimes you got to make it work.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's been great. We enjoy it, and all of our hosts do a really good job, so you included, and you guys have been doing great. We've been hearing good feedback about the mornings. People like their morning show, so good stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sure it's torture, but night shows are going to be good, too. I think that people want to hear about different topics, and it's a nice, refreshing difference from, usually at night a lot of our shows are, hard news, or on Thursday nights we have Health Debunked, but it's nice to have something different for people to just kind of think about and ponder about. There's a lot of things. People might have a lot of time to sit and ponder coming up, okay? These are things you might want to think about.
And it's a lot easier for me to get people to schedule at night for an interview than it is at 6 a.m. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm betting I can probably keep our plate filled with interviews.
Yeah, I like Red Pill at night. I'm here for it. I'll be tuning in and listening and sharing my opinions. And everybody in chat is great. So shout out to all the people in chat.
Yes, we love you.
Yeah, we're getting following in the morning. So I mean, it's working out good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people are looking forward to it, Even Mr. Tire's cool. Like, I need to get up and listen because it's on while I'm getting ready in the morning, I mean, it's giving people content to have, not last night's old content. Today is new content right now live as you're getting up and out of the door in the morning, which might give you just something to think about on your drive into work. Might give you something to ponder about. I think, right now is the time to take just some reflection periods. And it doesn't have to be a long amount of time. Like I said, just even your drive into work or going to check the mail or whatever. Just give yourself the time to think, though. I think too many times we're just go. What's the next thing visually?
We don't let our brains wander anymore.
Right. Just visually accepting things and, consuming instead of, taking that. Like I said, even if it's just 5 minutes, just start taking the 5 minutes and start thinking about, bigger, better, greater things. What do you want things to look like? Do you even dream anymore? Those are important things that I think we're losing to this kind of like augmented reality culture that I think shows where we sit and think are going to help us get through these times where we don't know what to do because we haven't been thinking for ourselves. We've been allowing others to make choices or just blindly following without going through the motions without thinking about it. Yeah. I think it's just something that's been really speaking out to me in the last, couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. Well, it takes us a half hour to wake up every morning, or at least me. So I don't know. Working out, but
hey, as long as you make a good, strong finish. I mean, everybody's shaky at that time in the morning.
yeah, but when you can't even talk, you're like,
That's how I felt this morning. Oh my gosh. I was so tired this morning.
I need coffee.
By the end of the show, I'm good though.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think everybody else is too. I mean, yeah, one morning we only had 3 people in the entire chat room for the show, and the next day it was like, I don't know, like what the hell? What's the difference? I don't know.
It's either feast or famine.
Exactly. But I love it. It's a lot of fun. I love the chat. Finally, the chat room, and I told Mel that because when I was on that other network, the chat room takes its own entity, and that's starting to happen now in the morning with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
the chat is great. That's what it's one of the things we always wanted, right? That interaction, those people in the chat who are there supporting us, and they become like a little family. You wonder what happens to them when they're not around, what's going on with them.
Well, yeah, we have not seen Total Vagabonds in the morning chat in a few days, and that's kind of got me worried.
Yeah.
I am genuinely worried about what's going on with him,
Well, he is Irish. He might be getting ready for St. Patty's Day, I mean, right?
True.
Yeah, I mean, these people start to become like little parts of your family, and we appreciate everybody for, sticking with us and being here, through the beginnings and the hard times in the middle, and just being here through what is.
Yeah.
That's it, and we appreciate all of you, all your donations, all the things that you do for us, all the compliments. We appreciate all of that. And we're going to keep bringing more things. Like, we're going to get you, more swag and more T-shirts and more things.
Cool.
Oh, and we got FRN Vids. And we have FRN Vids. We're going to have our own, so content creators out there.
Yeah.
This is a shout out to all the content creators out there. We're going to have FRN Vids.
I just got to get the
we'll get it
back end figured out. I've got one little piece that's giving me hassles. So
well, yeah, but I mean, you always want things like instant, and like sometimes things aren't instant. Okay, I know you're a whiz at everything.
I don't like when the coding doesn't listen to me.
Well, I know, but sometimes you got to keep working with it, and we're gonna have that. So it's gonna be like, it's gonna be like the freedom of video people. I'm not gonna say what that is because I don't want to get zapped on that one, that one place we broadcast. But it's going to be open where you can upload videos, no censorship. You as a content creator can come upload your videos and put them in a place to be safeguarded, so that other people aren't deleting your videos or cutting them or buffering them.
Right.
That
people
is
want
coming in the
censorship
very
free.
near future. I'm like this close. I'm putting
If
my
we can
fingers
get
real
this
close
coding
together.
piece,
I'm this
it'd be
close.
open. Yeah, if we can get the coding piece, it's open. I mean, we're just having a problem with people being able to upload the videos. Everything else is built and out, but when you try to upload a video, it's giving us crap. So we need to be able to find a way to
upload pictures,
upload.
can upload audios, can't upload a video to save my life. So
Right. So, I mean, we're working on it. But once we get that done, then we'll have that too. We have the social network, which is an alternative to Facebook out there for people. We're going to start using that and utilizing that more because it's there so that we can stay away from the censorship, talk about what we want. Have a new place for people to connect and no fear of talking about things and getting zapped by the Zuck.
Yeah, if you can do that, you'll kick YouTube's ass because it's getting ridiculous what they're doing.
It is. And we're almost there. Yeah, we've got the social network up for sure, but the vids, FRN vids, we're almost there.
yeah, this one last little bit of the front end upload. Once I get that fixed, it's ready to launch. So
Right. Well,
we'll be in it.
Speaking of compliments, Pamela, and she's the gatekeeper, right? She's the
oh
mom.
yeah, she is our gatekeeper.
She said this has been a first great night time show, Tim. What do you think? I had fun. I love doing interviews. It's a different.
And I knew you would get into Jason. I knew that was right up your alley.
I love talking to people or callers, or it's interesting. That's why I do this, is so I can talk to all the people. It's almost half selfish reasons, because I just want to pick their brain.
Yeah. Well, you got a ton of energy, man. Jeez.
I know.
I told you she goes to bed at friggin' 5 o'clock in the morning when we're getting up.
I do, like 5 or 6. That's why I never meet you guys on the show, because it's like I go to bed at like 6 a.m. So it's like,
Yeah, really? What time do you get up?
I get up about 10. I got a little one. So then we get up and do breakfast. And
so you're doing
I'll get
all
my
this stuff on 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I'm a machine.
Oh my God.
I work well. I don't need sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Remember when we used to say that, Tim?
Yeah. I remember.
I'm 30. I still got bigger. Leave me alone.
30?
Yeah, 30. Remember 30? When you're like hopeful and things are great still? Yeah, that's where I am. So I haven't been beat by life yet, so I'm good.
I think she's calling us old, Tim.
I know. What are you saying? Wow.
Wow.
That is not what I am saying. But what I'm saying is my energy is tied to my youth.
You already dug this hole.
I did go there. I did. But you know what? I'm going to go there because here I am. I got more energy. I'm here for it. It's great, though. I mean, I think that if I didn't have this much energy, though, a lot of things wouldn't. I don't think I could do what I do if I didn't have enough energy. I couldn't read like 5,000 articles in a day.
Oh, I know I couldn't do it if I didn't have the level of energy that I do have. But for me, I'm getting down to my bedtime, so.
When I was 30, I needed more than 4 hours of sleep. 18 in my teens, it didn't matter. I was up all night. I don't care. You're an anomaly. I don't give a shit what you say.
Oh,
I slept for like the
still
first.
have my nights.
I slept through like my 20s, man. I got my good sleep in. I used to sleep like all day for like days. That was good. I like got that all in like years ago. So now I feel like I can, kind of go a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it has nothing to do with age, my dear. I can't wait till you get 50, whatever. You bust your balls if I'm still alive.
Hey, that means we'll be in our 70s.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'll be a good time. We're like evenly matched then. That'll be good. It'll be good. It's all downhill. Like right now, I'm going downhill. Okay, that's just the current state of affairs. Once you're born, you're going downhill.
Well, yeah.
Like that's it. You're not Benjamin Button. We're not turning and reversing. Okay, we're going down.
I've made the decision. I'm not. So. Nah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to live forever. Like if there's like about youth or the alabaster or something, some type of Ark of the Covenant for youth or something, I'm here to explore and find that. Otherwise, slow decline. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I'm totally fine with my life being just all downhill. I've lived a lot of my life just like totally in the hospital and things like that. So it's like, when I got the energy, when I want to do things, I'm here for it. But yeah, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Don't have time. I'm here for all the things. I got things to see and do. But we might not be able to do many more things here pretty soon.
See, I've always lived with that view too. There's too many things up there to see and do. I can't just sit and do nothing.
Well, that's what I mean. I think too many people are defeated right now. I think that's the problem. Like people have real defeats and feel like, oh, this whole world is against me. I see no light at the end of the tunnel, and I think that's the wrong attitude to have.
Oh, totally.
You got to be positive about all things. Like, just like you guys just said, oh, I wish you have a lot of energy. You too could have this level of energy if you believed you did. Like, think about that. Bam.
Oh, you and I talk on the phone during the day. I do.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you always do.
You sound
Yeah,
like
you match my level of energy. Why we can work on that, you know. And I think everybody's level of energy though is different, right?
Well, yeah.
Like
We
what
express it in
drives
different ways.
Right. And I think that comes off more when I'm on air too, because I get excited more so than like, you know how I am like during the day. I'm like, you know, but that's because I like what I'm doing. You know, I enjoy this. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy thinking about things to talk to people about. You know, I see something, I see the world in a different way now because I see ideas and then I think, well, what does that mean for the bigger picture? Not just how it can individually affect me, but how do I bring this to where everybody feels like it affects them?
Right.
You know, if somebody recently asked, like, why do conspiracy theorists exist? And at first I was like offended and get ready to write like this diatribe. Well, yeah, I was getting ready to write like the angry diatribe, and I was like, well, what it is, and I'll answer the question, and I said, what it is that the people want to show others the corruption that they see through these conspiracies, and they want them to wake up and think for themselves. And they said, well, why do they do it if it doesn't benefit them and if it has no bearing on their life? And I said, but that's relative to how you feel. What you think may affect your life or is non-effective may not be for the next person.
Right.
So it's about just putting it out there to get the response of others. You know, if we don't speak up and talk about how we feel, then we internalize these ideas. Many times people have just been sitting around, and then, you know, when you actually come out with what you've been saying, you're like, oh, me too, I've been thinking that same way. And you should have just said it. So I think that should be a lesson for people to just think about that and just come out with it. Just come out with it. Don't be afraid of what can come out of it. Because sometimes you might find that somebody's in direct agreement with what you were about to say. So I think that, like I said, it makes me look at things differently and not be afraid to talk about things that might otherwise be taboo or frowned upon in this like new politically correct society, which is crap. And
I don't have any boundaries when it comes to things to talk about.
well, that's because we've not created boundaries for ourselves. But a lot of people live in those boundaries now, like serious restrictive boundaries that they're not allowed to say certain things. They don't want to approach situations a certain way. There's a level of tolerance that shouldn't be there for things. It's a dangerous time instead of people being allowed to talk about how it makes them feel.
I think we
That's
lost
dangerous.
him.
I don't know. I'm just listening.
But that's what I think. That's my thing.
Well, you sound like you either have an espresso machine or a six-pack of Red Bull or something. So,
I wish I had a Red Bull. No.
Red Bull? Monster? What?
No energy drink.
Really?
No. I live on life.
Well, that's really cool. I'm not putting you down. It's just that the energy that comes out of you is insane. So.
Oh, I appreciate it. I take it as a compliment. Actually,
That's what I. Hey, you call me old, and I'm not gonna diss you. So there you go. I'm nice. I don't insult hosts and owners of business owners. Just listeners. No, it's great. I hope you keep it. Actually, I mean, that'd be amazing because. Hell, you'll probably live to be 100 if you keep that up. So.
That's true. I feel like I could, honestly. I feel like I could be old.
That's good.
Like, I just feel that. I don't know. I have energy for life, and I always didn't, though. And maybe sometime we'll go through that. Because there was a period in time where I did not feel this way.
Really?
So, yes. Yeah, there's a lot of dark, twisty paths. So, yeah, that's something that we could go through for people, too, because I think that could maybe help people understand. I don't think I've ever talked about that on air, either.
Well, I would love you to. That'd be great.
Yeah.
You weren't a
You
witch
should come
one
on
night,
Wednesday night with us.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Were you a witch at one time? Please tell me you're not.
Was I a what?
A witch.
Oh no.
Good.
No.
What's wrong with witches?
Right, dude, you're about to awake the dragon over here, Tim.
The last 3 women I've had something to do with have been all Wiccan witches. So, no, thank you. So, no, but if you want to come on and talk about that, that'd be great because attitude's everything. And
Let's plan that for Wednesday.
yeah, if you want to come on, that's great, and you can transfer some of that energy in your story for people to lift themselves to the next vibrational level, and you're at like a gazillion, so that'd be great.
Yeah, and this is probably why, and I've paid attention to lots of ascension symptoms and things like that, so I've been clicked in for this for many years. So like, you're right, and thank you for saying that because that makes me feel really good because that's what I do work on to try to be, on those elevate, higher levels and resonate higher, so people feel that and they get lifted up with me. I don't want to knock people down. I want to lift them up with me. So yeah, absolutely, we'll talk about it. We'll tell people about it. There's a few important people who came into that, some authors and things, and I'll pull up some of their materials in the next 2 days, and that way we can reference it because that was one of the times that I can remember most pivotal, that when my mindset was really changing, these people were paramount in how I got over that mentally and broke through those mental barriers and boundaries and got to the level where I am now. Because, yeah, it wasn't always like this, that's for sure.
Cool.
If you could share that transformation, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. I would absolutely love to. You get the exclusive.
Woohoo!
Wow. I feel special. That's great. Really, I do. No.
Can you do church lady?
I'll work on it, but yeah. I can.
Yes, I'm that special.
It's a whisper.
Internet special.
Throat hurts. I still have swollen glands. Oh man. I think I got the coronavirus. Can I take some time off?
That's the new joke in our house. When anything happens, it's like Mr. Tyra was coughing the other morning. I was like, I looked at him and he was like, don't even say it. I was like, but we have to laugh because if everybody's going to catch it at this point, according to the epidemiological findings, you have to laugh. I mean, can we sit here scared, clinging to our toilet paper? I think not.
Damn toilet paper! Don't bring up somebody that lives like on the other side of Grand Junction posted on their timeline, not in one of the groups, but on their timeline, asking if there was toilet paper anywhere in Grand Junction because it's gone. It's just gone. All the rest of the food's there. The shelves are stocked, but zero toilet paper.
I'm so glad I was prepping before like these events because these poor people.
I need to quit getting me started on the damn toilet paper.
If I was the New World Order in the elite and I was watching this and I was like such a trap for toilet paper, I would be watching, because like they're watching us like little hamsters in a ball, right? And so they're watching these people just run and scamper and buy the toilet paper and they're not buying anything else. Like, winning. They're winning. Okay?
I would be fighting over some freaking meat.
Toilet paper.
I'll fight over some meat, but I'm not
I would
going to
fight
over
some
toilet
meat.
paper.
Yeah, I'd fight over meat too. I guess lobster is really cheap now, you guys. Did you see that? Get you some lobsters. Lobster's really cheap right now because I guess usually we send a whole bunch of lobsters over to China for Chinese New Year. They didn't get those lobsters this year, so we reap the benefits of lobsters being very dirt cheap right now.
I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah.
Nice. Like
so we got to take the perks.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we got to take the perks where we can get them. But Just saying. But if I was the elites and I was watching this, I'd be like, yeah, we're winning because they're just buying toilet paper and scurrying around fighting each other for bottles of water and shit that don't even matter. Like, I can't keep you alive. I will cut an old t-shirt to wipe my ass before I'm worried about toilet paper at the store. Like, that's the last thing you should be buying. Do you have enough food? Do you have enough medication? Like, there's 1,000 other things you could be buying. Do you have enough Band-Aids? Do you have anything in your house that you need? Like, I could just think of 1,000 other things besides toilet paper. They got toilet paper. What you gonna do with all that toilet paper?
God, who knows? I don't get it.
Build a toilet paper fort? Like, I'm just having a hard time here. So, you know, if I was the New World Order, I would just feel really content in my doings because they're winning, because everybody's just acting like idiots buying toilet paper. I mean, people are fighting, stabbing each other, knocking each other out cold in Australian grocery stores over toilet paper. This has gone way too far.
I agree.
Yeah, we need to come back together as one and learn how to deal. Okay,
We need to learn how to share our toilet paper.
Exactly.
Yes. I mean, I hate to bring up like communist ideas. Yeah, can you spare a square? Like, but it's like, you know, I hate to bring up communist like ideas, but at the same time too, if it makes sense, why are we making this so hard and like every man for himself for toilet paper, where like old ladies are trying to knock out middle-aged women over toilet paper? I mean, when you've gotten to a level where humanity is not even working and it's breaking down at its essence, this is just sad. It makes you want to run away. And we can't run away, okay, because I just wouldn't feel good about that. But, you know, we're going to have to show people there's a better way, man. We don't need to kill each other over toilet paper. I mean, that's going to be the next headline, like man killed over toilet paper, or Florida man kills for toilet paper. Yeah.
You know that's coming.
I have a solution to this. You sell toilet paper and put it on sale on Black Friday.
Toilet paper is usually on sale at that time of year. Diapers, toilet paper, all these other things. You know, diapers aren't off the shelves. There are people trying to, like, diaper their city babies. Like, I'm just having a hard time. Everybody's just buying toilet paper. You know, people who didn't go buy toilet paper are now running out of toilet paper and going to the store, and there is no toilet paper.
Well, yeah, that was, I mean, we've got it, but we were going to go ahead and get our normal toilet paper. That was what the guy who posted. He was just like, I just want what I normally get. I don't want to go get a bunch of them. I just want what I normally get.
Yeah.
And it's just non-existent, and it's so stupid.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, people aren't buying the appropriate provisions to survive, which concerns me for everyone's potential survival rate in the United States.
Well, okay, our potential survival rate as humans, I am now worrying about, because all these people can think about is toilet paper instead of food.
And bottled water that probably has fluoride in it. I have a real hard issue with that. Like, you're going to try to poison yourself. Have you read some of the testing results for those bottles of water? It's awful. And y'all are just drinking it up. What are you going to do? Take 8 bottles of water to boil something that you're going to eat? Or, like, you just going to drink all that water? They're talking about it can come through the pipes and sewers and sewages and, you know, particles and things. What the hell are you going to do with all this water? You're just going to stack. Where do you put something like that? You guys all have a big enough, like, stash rooms to just stack up, like, 37 cases of water. I just don't understand what people think they're going to do. Buy food that you can eat for a few weeks. And, honestly, if you're quarantined, it's probably going to be because you're sick. So you need to think about that. Do you have food you can eat if you're sick? Like, nobody's thinking about smart things. That's why we have Ron, to teach us about the smart things to do. Okay, I talk about those things too, but Ron, you know, is the emergency management expert, you know, 25 years in federal law enforcement experience.
We just make everybody go WTF.
Yeah, because, I mean, what's wrong with people? I'm just very concerned for survival as a whole right now, and we're gonna watch this play out like the ultimate game of like Darwin chess.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm positive about survival because I always feel like we can make it, but people are making it really hard to like root for humanity right now. That's where I'm at. So we got to watch it. We'll be here. You know, we'll be talking about it, but let's stick together. Let's try to lift each other up and stick together. I think that's a smarter plan than dividing and trying to go all our own ways, you know.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. All right, ladies. I can't stay until 5 in the morning, so
Me neither.
yeah. So, but I think you two should be. Well, you're not going to be awake, are you, Scarlett? You two should be the show in the morning. So,
Yeah.
it would be good.
We'll see about that. I don't know about that.
I got to work on you, so I can't make it.
But it's good because, you know, it's kind of like the night and, you know, that'll take place of it and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
People will be fine.
Unless
They
it's
got a double dose today, so they can miss it, right?
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it, actually. It went really, really well for first show, I think.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it. So it's good stuff. It passes the test.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Is it time to say goodnight, Gracie?
I was just took the words out of my mouth. So, in the chat room, it's time to say goodbye to each other. And good night, Gracie. And thanks for joining the show. And again, thanks to Jason and you as well. And yeah, and I look forward to Wednesday night. You all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That'll be a good show.
I'm in, so we'll come on at what, 8 o'clock again, and
Yeah.
hopefully some more people call in. We'll get some more, attract some more listeners, and before you know it, I don't know. It'll be a big party. So.
Yeah, I'll even come
There's
on
a party
camera.
over here.
That's right.
Yeah. Ooh.
Get to the
That's that kind of party.
whatever. Red Bull.
Red Bull. I'm excited, but yeah, I'll come on too, and you know, we'll do it up. We'll come on camera. We'll do it up. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, Mel, you got to get your camera working, or get yourself in, or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna try to hook her up and get, you know, like what I got. This little basic model works pretty well.
Cool.
We're gonna try to make that happen for her.
I'm working on it.
Okay. Well, good. All right. Well, thanks again. Thanks to everybody again. Thanks to Jason and Scarlett and Mel and everybody. And thank you. Got to say thank you to Pamela for being the gatekeeper. All the naughty.
That totally made me think of Ghostbusters.
I am the gatekeeper. Well, there you go. Yeah, it was fun. Thanks a lot. And we'll do this again on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we'll say goodnight, Gracie, because that's it. I'm done. I have to go to bed.
Good night, Gracie.
All right, good night, guys. Thanks for listening. You have been listening to the original Red Pill Show. Have a great night. Bye.